Okay, how do you even know that you're a DJ, first of all?
I was just going out to party a lot, and whenever I came out, I always brought out a crowd, and we rolled deep, and it caught the attention of the local promoter or the guy that ran the events or whatever like that, right? So he was just like, how can I get you to work with me? Like, do you want to be a bartender? Do you want to be a cocktail? And I was like,
just like that.
Yeah, and I was
what?
like, no. I was like, I want to be a DJ. And he's like, done. Your first gig is on Wednesday. I didn't know how to fucking DJ. I train wrecked the fuck out of that gig.
It's your girl, Missy Monoxide, coming at you from the heart of Dallas with DTXSTREET Sessions. We're all about artistry, stories, and culture, and I'm here to bring you the latest and greatest from some of the most impressive people in the city. Today we have DJ T-Rexx with us on Sessions. Hi, T. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So, for those that may not know, you're a DJ,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
How is that here in Dallas?
It's not what it used to be. So I've been a DJ in Dallas for 13 years now.
Okay.
And back when I first started, like the scene was hustling, bustling, and it was just like a sense of community because I mostly was primarily known in the Asian community. And then I, obviously like branched out and started doing more just different parties, college nights at the biggest clubs in Dallas. And then it progressed to doing festivals and eventually DJing overseas. I think the last big festival I did was Fuel Fest.
What? Where was that?
It's in the Texas Motor Speedway. It's like the Fast and the Furious festival.
Cool.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Like Tokyo Drift or
Oh,
fuck.
Yeah, so like they had cars like racing around the track and stuff like that. I opened up for Dirty Audio. He's a big EDM DJ, so I think that was the last big.
That's fucking cool.
Festival.
So you get to travel and DJ. Like, what is it like to DJ?
Oh man, it's cool because it's like you get to control the crowd. My favorite is like I actually just did a gig this past weekend at Ari Lounge in Carrollton.
Okay.
So I prefer a little bit more like intimate crowd and like when you do like festivals and stuff like that, it's primarily like kind of more like EDM or like more upbeat. I like to play like hip hop and trap because
that's cool.
The transitions are just so much more fun, and then I don't know, like you get to control the crowd, So like I like to play a little bit more of like older hip hop music, so it's like everyone's singing along, everyone's dancing to it, everyone knows.
I'm kind of afraid to ask, but when you say older hip hop, what are we talking about?
Like Teach Me How to Dougie, Black and Yellow, like when
I was in middle school, high school.
But like the music, like it's kind of nostalgic, but then it's like it gives you hype still. I personally hate the music now. So.
Are you a millennial or are you Gen Z?
The millennial. Yeah. You know what I mean.
You're a millennial.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were there for that, like the Dougie and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was a fun time.
I'm probably like a little bit more older than you too.
You're not older than me. How old are you? Wait, can we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I turned 36 in April.
We're the same.
Are we?
36, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I turned 36 in July.
Oh, okay. So we're the same age.
Yeah, you got me beat by like a couple months.
Oh, I this whole time I thought you were younger than me.
Nah, dude, I'm old. Well,
we're old.
We're old. Like, hold on. Did I just like diss you?
We're old.
No, we're old. Yeah, no, but I feel young, right? Like, yeah. I mean, my back hurts and shit, but like,
me too, all the time.
Yeah, it's like a thing because people used to tell me that in my 30s, dude. Yes, are we all gonna need like hip replacements? In the next...
I'll sleep wrong and I'll need to go to the chiropractor.
No, for real. And they say it's because we were doing all that when we were young. We were pop locking and dropping it, and we were backing that thing up.
Knees extra crunchy, bro.
Did you dance?
No, I'm not a dancer,
dude.
Everyone assumes that I'm a dancer.
I thought you would dance.
Yeah, I guess I just have that look.
You just look like you would.
Yeah,
like you
but
would dance.
I cannot dance.
You were just letting girls grind on you.
Yes.
Yeah. You're the grinder.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the pull.
I was one of those people that like liked dancing. So I was like up in the dance floor. I was like all my bones. Everything was pop locking and dropping. Everything. And now I'm like, why do I need an Advil 3 times a day, every day?
Bro,
You know?
yeah. I actually had to pop ibuprofen before I came here.
Me too. Dual action though. I have to use ibuprofen and I can never say this, acetaminophen.
That's intense, man.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It's the Advil dual action. I highly recommend it though. Like they don't sponsor me, but they should because like elderly problems.
You have the Costco bulk.
Dude, I wish. I get like the big. It's like 180 of them, and I literally have to take one like 3 times a day, every day.
Wow.
But I have fibromyalgia, so
okay.
I'm not just like old regular. I'm like,
okay, got it.
Yeah, I got a bunch of extra shit. Okay, how do you even know that you're a DJ? First of all, like, did you just?
Okay, this sounds really funny. So, whenever I first started college, right? I was a little bit sheltered, growing up. I was the only child, only girl, and in like an Asian culture, like my mom was like the dragon lady, so she was just like, you can't do anything, like you have a curfew at like 9 p.m, like you can't do shit, right? Yeah. So when I started college, it just was a new scene. Like it was just like this new environment where in college you're exploring yourself, you're figuring yourself out, and I figured that I'd like to party, so I was just going out to party a lot, and I would like make friends with the DJs, and I would stay in the booth, and like it would be like a crowded ass club, so I'm like super cool, like being in the booth with the DJ, and I'm just kind of watching them DJ, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. Yeah. And at the time there was no female Asian lesbian DJ, so whenever I came out, I always brought out a crowd, and we rolled deep, like 15, 20 deep, and it caught the attention of the local promoter or the guy that ran the events or whatever like that, right? So he was just like, how can I get you to work with me? Like, do you want to be a bartender? Do you want to be a cocktail? And I was like,
just like that.
Yeah. And I was like, no. I was like, I want to be a DJ. And he's like, done. Your first gig is on Wednesday. I didn't know how to fucking DJ. I train wrecked the fuck out of that gig. But you know what? 300 of my friends came out, and we packed out a fucking burger joint.
I gotta know, like, how did that go down? Because you said you didn't, like, did you just go up there and you were like, the fuck do I do?
So the like the DJ friends that I had, they would be behind me, and they would kind of just like
push that,
like do that, and like just kind of show me, and it just comes with practice, So I would just have consistent gigs after that point. And
that's ballsy as fuck though.
Yeah, like, it's scary
to not know and then just go and do it.
It was, I mean, it's music sounded like shit, and it wasn't even my own music, so it's like I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing.
But you fucking did it.
But I fucking did it, man. I fucking did it, and here I am like 13 years later.
Dude, so is that how you just kind of learned, just by doing it?
Yeah,
or
I didn't even have equipment. I would It literally would just show up to my gig
and practice there.
And when it was my gig, that's when I practiced.
Okay, sorry. Okay, that was my trash alarm. Because when you're an adult.
Oh, you gotta bring out the trash?
Yeah, there's like certain days you can just turn it off. There's like days when it's trash night. So tonight's trash. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, listen, I have ADHD. And I have to remember my trash nights, okay? So today was my trash night.
Oh, it's actually my trash night tonight too.
Oh, it's your trash night?
Yeah.
How do you remember to take out your trash?
I see the neighbor take out their shit, so I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta take my shit out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, did I mention I have ADD?
Well, I have ADHD.
I have that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get lazy and call it ADD. Because is it that different? Is the H make us that different?
I hyper focus.
Same.
Like super hyper focus. I'm not on any kind of medication. I think I should be, because sometimes like I'll start my day and I like mean well. Like I'll start my day early.
You mean well.
And
like
then I just get fucking distracted, and the next thing I know, it's like 3 hours later, and I'm just like,
and you didn't do anything.
And I didn't even do anything.
You're like just scrolling on Instagram.
Yeah. And then on TikTok, and I'm like, fuck yeah. And it's like that every fucking day, and I'm just like, fuck, be better, But it's just.
And the irony of it is like what I'm scrolling is about ADHD.
Yes.
It's about getting my life together.
Yes.
And I'm saving like all these inspirational things. Right. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do that and that.
Right.
And then 3 hours later, I'm like,
and you're like, fuck, I was supposed to be at the gym like 3 hours ago, And then I was like, fuck, I was supposed to do this for
supposed to work.
Yeah, I was supposed to work like 3 hours ago, So it's like, But then like whenever I am like super hyper focused, like let's say on work. So
Yeah.
my day job is I own an e-commerce business.
Oh,
So
damn. Okay. I have to ask about that in a minute.
I'll like hyper focus on it, and then it's like 4 or 5 hours later, and my phone is just like, "Are you okay? Like, why didn't you reply to me? Like, where are you?"
Yeah.
You know?
No, same. I have to get into that. It's weird. It's like, I feel like when I have the intention, I can't.
Mhm.
And then sometimes, okay, why lie? It's when I have like literally 24 hours to do the shit,
Mhm.
you know, it kicks in the fear of God, and you're like, fuck, I fucked around
I'm like
for
that
2
too.
weeks.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm such a procrastinator.
And now I have 24 fucking hours.
Yeah.
But those are the most productive 24 hours of my
Yes.
life. Like,
Yes.
I won't eat. I won't even go pee. I'm literally like at the computer. And then when I finish, I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should eat today.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go pee, you know? And then, but then it works and it's good.
Right.
I'm not saying it's functional, but like, I'm not medicated either because, okay, you know how Freddie Mercury had like really bad teeth, or there was something with his teeth or something,
Mhm.
and he wouldn't fix them because he thought if he did, it might like change his voice, and he was afraid that he would sing differently if he fixed his teeth. So I'm not saying that he gave me the confidence to be like, this is who I am, I'm not changing, but like I'm also scared, like what if I do get on like ADHD meds and then I just change?
Have you seen that meme where it's like, what if you go to therapy and you lose your funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, like, well, I'm already dead inside, so like can't lose much there, but yeah, I'm a creative, and I do a lot of creative shit, you
Right.
know, but I'm creative because I don't know if you're like the ADHD that daydreams a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a lot of like passion dreams and just ideas in general in like business.
Yeah.
My problem is I want to do all of them,
I know.
and I don't have the time, and then I get distracted, and then I forget to do it.
Or then you pick up a hobby somehow
Right.
randomly and that you do for like 2 days.
Right. Like
Yeah.
this week I actually had to sit down with myself and I was like, I gotta get my shit together, and and it's just like the little things that make me happy, right? So I'll put in my to-do list on my notes, and
I love that.
and then once I complete it, I'll like press on the bubble, and it's like marked completed,
and it gives you such like,
and you're like, yes.
dopamine. Yeah. And it could be like, I have to do that too, but it's literally like, wash my face, do the dishes, like things that I know that I can actually do.
Right.
Because then, otherwise, if I put like finish your 4 pending projects, I'm not going to check shit off that day.
Right.
And I'm going to, then I feel defeated. So I have to put like, or my trash, have a trash alarm.
Right.
I have to do these things to stay on track. But I'm like, my therapist was like, I don't know if you should be medicated, just because I went my whole life, like I wasn't diagnosed till I was like 32, I want to say.
Oh, so recently.
Yeah, very recent. I didn't know. I thought I was just a fucking weirdo my whole life. So when I found out I had it, I'm like, well, everything makes sense now.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you've lived like this your whole life. And we figured out that I actually, just the way I do things, it's like my brain compensated for where I lack. I found ways to just get around shit and be productive or whatever. So she's like, yeah, I don't know if we should medicate you. It might make you feel different.
Right.
You might have side effects. And she's like, I think if you've gone this far in life, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're, like 36 and you live at your mom's house because you
can't function.
Yeah. Like I mean, I was in the military. I went to college. I have my degree. I have a business. So yeah, do I do it 24 hours before it's due? Yeah, but I do it. It's like,
Yeah.
I get through.
I relate to that.
Yeah.
It's just like, just being an entrepreneur is just having ADHD, and then also having to be disciplined, and also having to self-motivate yourself.
Dude.
It's a lot.
Yeah. No, and then for me, on top of that, I have a chronic pain condition. So every day that I wake up, it's like, when you go to the gym and you work out like hardcore
And you're
and
sore.
then you're sore as fuck. I feel like that every day of my life, every moment. So fibromyalgia, it's like joint pain, muscle pain. So I'm just literally sore all the time. And then for me, a lot of my pain is in my neck and shoulders, which is probably from being at my desk.
Right.
So, I wake up, I'm depressed. So there's the depression. The depression's like, why do anything? The ADHD is like, we got so much shit to do, and then the pain is like, yeah, but we hurt, bitch. Like,
that's a lot.
Yeah. So then we take the Advil. So I'm literally wrangling my anxiety, depression, ADHD, and my pain every day.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, can I have some credit, people? Because like I have friends that have a headache and the week is canceled, you know, and I've just learned, and I'm not on any kind of meds for anything because I have a lot of pain meds, obviously, from my doctor. I just don't take them because they turn me into a zombie.
Right.
Like I wouldn't be able to do anything.
Right.
So I'm just like raw dogging life in pain, unhinged, and depressed.
Fuck. I mean, I don't have chronic pain, but sometimes like just being an adult is depressing.
Fucking A,
I'll like wake up and I'm like, is this what my life has to come to? Like,
dude,
fuck.
why? And you know, it seems like, I don't know, but do you feel like when we were kids in the 90s, it just seemed like adults were happier?
No.
Or did we just think they were happier because we were kids and we wanted to be adults?
No. I saw the struggle that my mom went through. My mom was a single mom.
Okay.
And like we didn't grow up in like the best neighborhoods as well. I grew up in like Anaheim, but we called it Anacrime.
That makes sense.
So like, you know, Disneyland wasn't all that. So now it's all gentrified. But back in the days whenever I lived there, it was like crime central, you know?
Yeah.
Like the car underneath our apartment complex like got blown up, and it was like underneath like my bedroom. Like the fire.
Like a car blew up?
Yeah, car blew up, literally.
What the fuck? What kind of gang wars were y'all having?
That's what I'm saying. Like it was Anacrime, and now it's all gentrified because Disneyland.
No, I
is there.
feel that.
Yeah.
See, I grew up poor too, and my parents weren't happy. Like my mom and stepdad argued a lot, but like, I guess beyond that, I get other people's families seemed happy to me, and I just wanted to grow up and be an adult because first of all, I didn't want to be at home anymore. It's kind of fucked up to admit that, but like I couldn't wait to grow up because, okay, so my parents were very strict. And then my stepdad was physically abusive and mentally abusive, always talked down to my mom and the kids. Right. And then she would talk down on us. And it was just a fuckery, a bunch of messed up crap. So I grew up angry and depressed and a bunch of shit. And I was ready to get out. So I don't know. Did you relate to something like that? Or did you have like a happy like childhood?
No, I mean, I had a pretty rough childhood. I feel like I had to grow up really quickly.
Yeah.
So it was just like kind of one of those things, but I appreciate it now because it kind of made me into the hustler that I am.
You do, but it sucks though, right? Because like I think of my brother and I talk about our childhood a lot because we didn't get to really be kids either. Yeah. Like we had to work to help our parents. We used to sell at swap meets. So every weekend, like we did school on the week, and then every weekend we wake up early as fuck to go to different like swap meets and flea markets and set up a booth and sell shit all fucking day. And then go home and like we never went anywhere. My dad didn't take us to like restaurants, or we didn't go on family vacations. I mean, he wouldn't even take us to the park because it was just too much work. Like literally all we did was work or be home and get yelled at. And like my stepdad was the kind of person that like if you were helping him with something and you messed up, instead of being like, hey, no, like this is how you do it, he would just berate you and just keep telling you like you're a piece of shit, you're worthless. Why do you even?
Is he the dad that's like, you're holding the flashlight, and he's like, hold the fucking flashlight?
Yeah, but then it's not like just hold the flashlight. It's like, what kind of a moron are you that you can't even hold a flashlight? Why do you even go to school? You know, why do I bother sending you to school when I was your age? I was in the fields picking whatever, and my dad used to beat me, and like, you know, and I don't know, because you're foreign too. I'm first gen Mexican American, so I'm like the first Mexican in my family to grow up in this country. Well, from my little immediate family, I have like an uncle that was in California, but so I was still being kind of raised like tradition Mexicans, and they can be really hardcore with their kids. You kind of just get treated like an adult.
I'm first, so I relate to that.
Yeah, because it's just the struggle in Mexico. At least it's like kids have to work to help the parents. You don't really have like a childhood. Right. It's not like America, you know. Right. And mine were still treating me like that here. So for instance, when I learned to speak English, which was like 3rd or 4th grade, because I had to do like ESL. When I finally learned, I had to do all my parents like stuff. Yeah. Call here, set up the bill, you know, set up the phone and set up the cable. And if there's an issue, I have to call. So now I have anxiety about like complaining and stuff because I hate it because my parents made me do it all the time. And it was just so embarrassing to me, you know?
Fun fact, my second language was actually Spanish.
No way. And then what's your first language?
Vietnamese.
Okay. And then Spanish?
And then Spanish. Yeah. So before I started school, my uncle, his baby mama was Hispanic. And she was the one that like babysat me because my mom was going to school full time and working. And so, you know, his baby mama or his girlfriend or whatever like would watch me and just speak Spanish.
What?
So I, you know, and I grew up in like the ghetto of San Diego.
Well,
at the
it's
time.
California.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
so everyone is Hispanic, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, and then the area that we lived in was highly populated Hispanics. So when I started school, I had like a VIT Spanish, like accent.
Yeah.
They put my ass in ESL because I didn't know how to speak English.
Yeah. How long were you in ESL for? Like a couple years?
I want to say like 3 years.
Same.
Yeah.
It was like from kindergarten to like 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah.
And I learned English by like 4th grade. But it's weird. I don't know if it happened to you, but even now as an adult, I'll watch shit, like rewatch something, and it makes sense now because even though I knew English, I still didn't understand like innuendos or sarcasm or slang.
Right.
So I would like laugh because other kids were laughing and I'm like, you know, and I'm like, wait. And now as an adult, I'll watch it and I'm like, oh,
I get it now.
That's what it is. Yeah, because now I understand like inside jokes. I
wish I kept the Spanish because obviously no one in my family speaks Spanish now, you know.
So you don't speak Spanish anymore?
So whenever I was dating, I usually date Asians, but I had one Hispanic ex, and she would actually speak Spanish to me. Her and her family would speak Spanish to me, and it was getting to the point where it's like, basically the more and more I'm around it,
like you can understand.
I can understand it. Yeah, I just can't speak it.
So Adam, when he would speak with my family, I noticed they kind of like retreat back to like primates because I would see him trying to struggle. Like they didn't speak English, he didn't speak Spanish, so they were like talking to each other with hand signs and stuff. But he'd be having whole ass conversations with my cousins, and I'm like, how? Like they're just talking, and he'd be like, and you know, and then they laugh,
and they get it,
and they're acting something out too, like, you know, and I'm like, they're having this whole conversation, just like, you know. So I don't know if that's how y'all were too, like y'all could just.
It was just like certain words, like if you, it's kind of weird because I'm not like super fluent in Vietnamese either, but I can understand it. And then whenever I was touring in Asia, I was staying in Vietnam for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, 1 week. 1 week. And then because I was around the people that talked so much, I started having dialogue in Vietnamese.
That's cool.
And I started understanding, and it helped me with my speaking. So like being around her family, it was helping me with my dialogue. Like I would understand it in my head, but it was hard for me just to speak.
No, I understand that. That's kind of how English was for me in the beginning. Like I could kind of understand it because I actually remember when I first got to the United States and like people were speaking English, it just sounded like gibberish to me. And like I still remember how it sounded like gibberish. It was very weird. And then when I started to be able to speak it, it's weird how like as you learn, that gibberish starts becoming like more clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Comprehend, yeah.
And you just like start understanding it. And the next thing I knew, like I just knew English, and then my parents were like, "Hell yeah, you're doing everything.
Now you can help
me." So yeah, that's another reason I had to grow up quick was because like I had a hand. Like I'm talking everything, legal, medical, bills, every fucking thing is like talk to her. And so I guess they didn't really bother to ever learn the language fully. To this day, I still handle my mom's stuff. Like my stepdad's not really in our lives anymore, but I still have her. So, you know, I still get the old call, like, can you call here? And I just have to talk myself through the anxiety of having to do it. But I'll do it because that's my mom. But it's not my favorite thing to do.
Right.
You know, it's not like, I'm like, hell yeah, I can't wait to call Time Warner and bitch. You know, it's not the greatest. Okay, so how was your life growing up other than it being rough from being in like a particular neighborhood? Like, I know we were talking earlier and you mentioned you grew up Baptist.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So, my mom was a Baptist in Vietnam. Long story short, like my biological dad, this was like whenever it was like super communist. It's still communist, but like basically you're not allowed to leave the country. And
Vietnam?
Yeah.
Till this day?
No, it was like more because you know like the war and stuff like that back in the days.
Yeah.
So it's like people would immigrant over here illegally. You know, kind of like
Mexicans.
The Mexicans, right?
And the South Americans.
Yeah. So my biological dad was, you know, I think he might have got denied to come over here, but the plan was he was supposed to come over here first and then bring me and my mom. And so he went on a boat, and the boat that he got on got lost or shipwrecked or whatever like that.
Oh, shit.
So we, you know.
So do you know what happened to him or no?
Probably shipwrecked. I don't know.
Wait, like you for real don't know?
I actually got like later, like I want to say like in my early 20s, I didn't even know his side of the family. So we got in contact with his side of the family and they don't even know. So we're just
Damn.
presuming that he passed, you know?
Oh shit.
So
it's not like he dipped out or anything.
No, it's just like,
mine dipped.
Yeah. He like legit died.
Fuck, dude. I'm sorry.
I didn't have him in my life, so I don't know how he is. And I was fortunate enough to have a mom that filled a void and like gave me everything in my life that I never felt like I have daddy issues or anything like that, you know? If anything, I have mommy issues.
Are you and your mom cool?
Me and my mom are best friends.
Okay.
Yeah, now we are. Like growing up, we weren't.
Yeah, butt heads a lot.
Yeah, because she had me when she was like 21. But you know, like back in the days.
That's young.
That's young, but then that's like normal.
Yeah, it's pretty young and normal.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But then like when she came over here, like she was a young, and my mom was also very attractive. So it's just like she knew she was attractive, so she would, you know, go party a lot and, you know, leave me at home with like my aunt and stuff like that. And like they don't have the best relationship. So it's like I would see my mom get kicked out and like all this shit, you know, like it's just, you know. But yeah, I grew up Baptist because when my dad passed away, my mom turned to religion. So me and my mom got baptized in Vietnam. So when we came here, that's kind of what stuck. So when she started going to like church and stuff like that in school, she found like the pastor, like he was my babysitter. So him and his wife.
Okay.
Yeah. So like they, you know, they would help like more of like the less fortunate, you know, stuff.
They kind of took y'all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Were they nice?
From what I remember, but I guess I was like kind of like a bad kid. Not a bad kid, but like a smart ass. A smart ass. So my mom was like, I think I got in trouble or something like that. I don't even remember this. But she was like, yeah, do you remember like whenever you were young, like the wife like kind of like scolded you and then you like said it in Vietnamese where you're like, don't be such a like a tiger lady or a lion lady.
Tiger lady.
Yeah, you're like, you're such a tiger lady. I'm gonna tell my mom, you know? And I narked to my mom and mom was just like, you're such a smart ass. And I was just like, I don't even remember that.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So they're just like, she's a little bad kid.
Defiant. I wasn't bad. I was just defiant.
I mean, some kids are just, they just know what they want.
Yeah.
You know, like they have an intention.
Yeah. And then I don't know, it's just like being an Aries.
Aries children. You know what? I don't think I know anybody as a kid. I mean, I'm sure I knew people as kids that were Aries, but I don't recall like a particular Aries child, or not that I was asking back then, I guess.
I would say I'm pretty rambunctious. I was pretty rambunctious, very outspoken, but also very charismatic. Like I also like remember like being the teacher's pet a lot. Yeah,
I was always teacher's pet because that was important to me because I didn't really have that at home. So when my teachers were nice to me and they like responded positively when I did my homework and shit like that was like this reward that I wasn't feeling at home. So I loved being teacher's pet. And then I didn't have very many friends either.
You probably have a praise kink, huh?
Damn it,
Adam.
I do. Why fucking lie? Wait, I'm sure there's probably like 10.
That's hilarious.
No, is that like accurate? You can have like several.
So I recently took like that like BDMS. Like,
BDSM.
Yeah, BDSM. I'm also dyslexic.
You looked up BDSM?
Right. Like there's a test that you can take
to like tell you
don't ask me why I took it, but
okay, why though?
I was
I want to know.
Okay, I guess I was like sexting with this chick.
Okay.
And, you know, I was just like, what's your fantasy? You know?
I wanna. That's all I could think of. It's ludicrous.
Yeah, but it was funny because our thing was like, we were really into like taking like those personality tests.
Oh yeah, I like those.
Yeah, so like it really like we really got to know each other on a deep level.
But there's one for BDSM.
Yep.
And it tells you like your kinks.
Yep.
And one of yours is praise.
Nope. But I do. But my love language is words of affirmation.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Everyone doesn't have that. The words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Some people were just like.
I just recently learned that was my love language. I thought it used to be something else, but I guess it changed.
I need to learn what I feel like I have all of them though.
It's
because I'm kind of
I'm kind of needy, so I'm like,
Yeah.
so when someone asks me, I'm like, it's all of them.
I feel like it's all of them for me because like I'm a lovey person, but see, it's very select people.
Mhm.
So like normal people think I'm cold and emotionless, but it's just like my ADD. It's just how I am.
Mhm.
But when I like, if I'm in a relationship with you or we're close, I'm
Mhm.
like a whole different person.
Right.
I'm like lovey dovey. I'll hug you, but like a regular person, they'll be like, I love you, and I'm like,
Oh, you're an Aries moon, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're very passionate. I'm also an Aries moon.
I'm super. I'm dramatic. Like when I write, it's like I could write like a romance novel. Like
Passionate.
I'm very
We're passionate.
Yeah, I'm very passionate. And I love like acts of service.
Mhm.
I love like doing things for people that I care about, like taking care of them, hearing them, being there for them, and all this extra shit. But when it comes to me like receiving, I'm not really sure what I want from people. But I don't know if it's because I'm depressed all the time.
Maybe
or
you should take the test. I don't know.
Maybe I should. But I'm pretty sure my BDSM one, I probably know like at least my top 5 that I'm gonna get on there.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna disclose what mine is because like I think I should.
Give me one.
It was. What was it? Fuck, I forgot.
Is it a Japanese word?
No,
Oh.
I'm just very dominant.
So you're dom?
Yeah,
You're-
but like to the extreme.
Like you're just dominatrix style?
No, like I'm just very like because there's like passive lovers and then dominant lovers.
Mhm.
I'm like a very assertive.
You're very dom.
Yeah.
Like you like to be in charge.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Like I've been told like
like you take charge of the act.
yeah like not like I've been called Christian Grey before. Let's just say that.
He's hot.
Yeah. Someone called me
Yeah.
Christian Grey before, and I was just like,
I don't know if that's a complaint. I don't think so.
I don't know.
See, I'm fine. You gave me one. I'll give you. I'm definitely sub. So yeah. Okay. I see the dynamic there.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's because I'm a Cancer primarily.
Okay.
So I don't know how to say this without it sounding fucked up. It's not that I'm like. It's not that I want to be like victimized.
I feel like that's pretty normal. I feel like that's a common fantasy. Like
I didn't mean it like rapey. I just mean.
Oh. I've like
yeah,
talked to girls and
Yeah.
that's like one of their fantasies. They're like
yeah.
they're like I want to be like bounded and kind of raped. I was like, what?
Okay, same, but not the rapey part. I mean, unless it just goes there. Okay, fine, yeah. You know what? I don't know. I'm like, because then I thought about if it goes there, and then I'm like, no, but I don't mean like I'm like stop,
But don't.
but don't. Yeah. So I guess I'm a little more fucked up than I thought. Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know where that stems from, and like I know I probably have daddy issues because both my fathers walked out, but then my mom wasn't really there either, so I was technically like I have parent issues, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that I guess wow, I feel attacked right now. It's like
we're digging deep, man. We're digging deep.
it's all making sense. Where did you take this test?
I'll link you.
Okay, I need to know.
Oh, just like I have control issues. Like I like being
Oh,
in
you like being in
control.
control.
I like being in control, yeah.
Did you feel like you had a lot of control growing up, or you felt like you didn't?
And that's what
why it
stems
meant
from.
okay, because I didn't have zero control growing
Mhm.
up, but I also don't like being in control in that aspect. That's why I'm like more sub-leaning because
It's with me, like I guess like in like gay term, they call it switch, right? So
Yeah.
switch, so like they have terms where you're a dom and then you're a
sub or you switch
or a bottom, right? Or a switch, right? Because like I'm so like masculine, like always in my masculine energy.
Mhm.
Sometimes I want to be in my femme energy, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes like I would prefer to be switch where someone orders for me,
Mm.
or I can be the little spoon.
I like being the little one.
Yeah,
I
I actually love being the little.
I
spoon.
like being like again. Victim is not the right word.
If you can bring me out of my masculine energy
Mhm.
and bring out the softness to me, that's where you'll see the switch.
Yeah. Let's just say in that aspect, I'm like, okay, you see me like person, I'm tomboyish, I'm
Mhm.
kind of shy, sort of. But then when that happens, it's like I'm a whole different person. And but it's like sub, but still in control. I'm not like a total sub where it's I don't even know how to explain it.
I mean, sex to me is like, it just depends, right? I can fuck someone and not have any kind of like emotional, like
attachments, yeah.
But then also like if I really like you, I'm like obsessed, and that's when like my more feminine energy comes out, and that's when it's more like a switch.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. When I'm not into a person, I'm very, that's why even some of my friends sometimes get in their feels, because I have like a lot of friends that are very lovey, you know, and they'll be like, oh, I love you and things like that. And I'm like, you do, you know, I don't know, but it, and they get in their feels and I get it. Like, I'm sure it hurts that I'm not that kind of like, I'm not a very huggy, like
lovey-dovey,
emotional lovey-dovey person, but I am, but just not with everyone. You know, it's like, it takes a lot to get me to that point with a person. I guess it's like, I have to feel like I really trust you, which I guess is where the sub thing comes in, because like, I don't know if people realize, just to be a sub, it's like, you gotta have so much faith in your dom, you know?
I see.
Yeah, because you're like essentially vulnerable to this person or whatever. And I don't mean like just a sub in like in that context. I'm just, even in life, it's like, for me to ever be submissive with anyone or be vulnerable, it's so much. It takes so much out of me. Yeah.
You know, being vulnerable to me was just like really hard for me growing up. But you know, after like kind of growing and like working on myself, therapy and stuff like that, I even hired a life coach.
Oh, really?
I'm kind of leaning more into like being vulnerable, and it kind of like bit me in the ass with like the last person that I was dating, because I was trying to be vulnerable, and then at first she was like, "Oh, that's cool that you're being vulnerable," and then she like kind of like weaponized it against me. But then like,
that's fucked up.
It is, yeah. But how I see it is like, if they're your person, no matter what you say or do, like, you're not gonna scare them, you know. And then
that's true.
And then me being vulnerable, because I'm naturally very sensitive and emotional.
Ditto.
So it's like, if you can't handle that, then can't, you know.
No, dude, trust me. You're like talking to the queen of sensitivity. Like, I literally, I tend to take most things personal, but I also try not to. But I can't help it.
Yeah.
I'm just an emotional person.
Me too.
But I'm also emotionless.
Same.
Yeah. It's like, such a hard thing to explain.
It's like, if I really care about you, I really care about you. But if I really don't give a fuck about you. Like,
people that don't know me will see me like at an event, and I'll, you know, like later say we hit it off and we start talking like as friends. They'll be like, you know, when I first met you, I thought you were kind of a bitch. And
I get that all the time.
I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, you look real mean. They're like, you just look, you know, like displeased. Like, you're just standing there and you look angry. Like everyone's beneath you or something. And I'm like, I probably had anxiety, and I just have resting bitch face. Like, I can't control my face. Like, I was born with it. And I think, I know we were talking about the Matrix earlier, but I think my avatar, when I came into this plane, I was already fed up with life. So my avatar's just got like a bitch face and a half, because she's like, fuck this shit.
Right,
you know, like, I'm just here. I'm here for a good time.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So but then they'll start talking to me and they realize that I'm actually like a nice person, and I'll hear you out, and I don't really have an ego, or much of an ego. Like, shit, I hardly have self-esteem. So, you know, they like talk to me and they realize that I'm not mean or anything. And then they'll tell me like, oh shit, I thought you were going to be like a huge bitch or egotistical, or just, I don't know why they think that. It hurts my feelings.
I've had to work on my ego.
You have an ego?
Yeah, a big one.
Why or how? Like,
I just, you know, like, like growing up, I didn't have like much like self-worth. And then once I kind of like found myself and like loved myself, it's gonna take me a while to get away from that.
I want to ask you, like, or anyone, that, how do you love yourself? Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but like, this is something I probably will die like this, but I've never been able to genuinely like love myself. Like, when people say I love my body, I love myself, and stuff, I can never say that about myself with like a straight face.
It took a lot for me to get to this place. Like, actually growing up, I thought I was going to be transgender. Because I always knew that I was a little bit different.
Like, more masculine?
I just remember like just feeling very different growing up, like from the age of 4.
So you knew early on.
Yeah.
Did you think you were like? Did you feel like you were a boy, or did you?
Yeah,
just,
like I remember watching like home videos, and then I would tell like my cousins like, "Oh, call me Michael. Like, call me something more masculine." And then like I always was a huge tomboy. You know, played sports, skateboarded, like super boy. You know.
Yeah.
And like I just remember like just being more attracted to the male feature, not sexually, but just more like
their lifestyle.
Yeah, like oh, I wish I looked like,
or had their clothes.
Yeah, like I wish I looked like him. You know, so it was like I thought I was really gonna be transgender growing up. But I don't know. Like I just feel like I went through this like phase in my life where I just started appreciating myself and just kind of a little bit off topic, but not really. Like I saw this TikTok last night, right? So they were like, if you doubt that you're like attractive, like look at your past partners, and that will determine, because mostly attractive people will date other attractive people, right?
Sure.
Well, that's well, it was backed up by science as well.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I feel like fuck. Now I'm gonna. Okay. I mean, I feel like the people that I dated weren't ugly. Well, actually, I take that back. When I went in the Navy, I did date a few people before I met Adam, and they were really hot. Like, I thought they were out of my league, actually. Like, I was surprised. Okay, so when I was a kid, I never heard the words from anyone, like, I think you're hot, like, come out of their mouth. Like, till I graduated high school. Because I'm not saying I am now. I'm just saying at that time, I wasn't, like, a cute girl. Like, I've never been a girl that was like a princess or pretty and everyone wanted me. Like I always had a lot of friends. There was always at least one dude that was into me, 3 girls that were into me.
Right.
There was always somebody that was into me, but I like to say I was like a hot girl at school or anything like that. Never. So when I went in the Navy, obviously I went through boot camp. I got fit, did a bunch of, I changed like entirely as a person. Like high school me and Navy me are 2 different people. And that was the first time in my life I ever heard anyone say I was hot. And I was like, wait, I'm hot? Me? This nerd. And that like that opened the door, and then actual hot guys were trying to date me. And then I went out with like a couple of them, and I was like, okay, wow, like a hot guy was into, but I never, even after that, it just, I was like, this has got to be like a mistake. Like they're fucking with me, or, I don't know, there must be blind, or just wait till they find out who I really am or something. I don't know. I always think that. So I don't know. It's always been hard for me. Like I guess I've never seen myself as like a hot person or thought of myself that way. So if anyone ever says those words to me, like the creepers on my stories and stuff, I'm just like, who? Me? It just, I don't know, dude. It doesn't click in my brain. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess with me, I didn't feel that way up until like I started being a creator. And it's like whenever, even like when I first started DJing, right? I didn't think I was hot shit.
But I feel like DJ is automatically you're just like you're a DJ, like you're hot.
But I didn't feel like that. You know, I didn't feel like that. Like growing up, I was kind of like you. Like I've always had people attracted to me, but whenever they call me hot or something, I was like, really,
Yeah,
but
you don't believe it.
I don't believe it, right? But then,
you almost feel like they're insulting you. You're like,
and then I also have like imposter syndrome too.
Same.
So I would say like I rebranded myself as a DJ. I rebranded myself as a DJ, and this was after like a really big breakup as well. I was actually dating like a former pageant queen.
Okay. And you're saying you didn't think you were hot?
Because like when I looked at our pictures, I looked like, I don't know, she was obviously way hotter than I was, And then I was just like, me.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And then like at the time, like I didn't wear like a lot of makeup as well. So after me and her broke up, I just had like really, really low self-esteem. But I'm grateful for like one of my friends. She's a makeup artist. She showed me how to put on makeup and just feel like just more confident within myself. And that was also around the time that I was rebranding myself as a DJ.
So kind of like
it kind of, so I rebranded myself because one of the promoters in Dallas was like, like you would get so much more gigs if you actually dressed sexy and it was hot like a girl. And I was like,
rude.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
But it was more like it fueled the fire. Like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna show you. Like,
But sadly, he's right though, right? Like,
he's right. Yeah.
women DJs,
Yeah.
all of them.
And you see them all over Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're like half naked, you know, super glammed up. And you know what? That's what I did. It worked for me because it I actually grew my Instagram following up to like almost 50,000 followers.
Holy shit.
But I lost a lot of those followers because that's not me authentically. And
I know the vibe.
Huh?
I know the feeling.
But to me, I'm like, I rather have like no following and be true to myself. And that's when I truly learned to love myself, because I did all that rebranding. I did the photo shoots. I did those, like, you know, tasteful,
like thirst traps. Yeah.
And it was hot, you know, like I would date me as a femme girl, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's my type, but it's not me.
So what you're saying is I got to have like a phase.
You
just gotta feel myself.
You gotta feel yourself, and you gotta see like what makes you the most comfortable. Like me now, like I'm a tomboy no matter what, but I also like to wear makeup, you know, because it makes me feel pretty, you know.
Like I'm tomboyish too, but I wear makeup and I'm still feminine in other ways, I guess. Okay, my problem is if I try to be hot, I get like the giggles. Like I don't have it in me. It's just not me. So for instance, like if I went out and did like a shoot, like a sexy shoot, I'm not getting anything done. I'm going to laugh the whole time and just feel uncomfortable. Like I don't know how to be sexy, if that makes sense.
I don't either.
It's not in me. Like I was never I just don't feel like I was born to be a girl that's like half naked on the internet and first of all, I don't have the features for that. So thanks. Yeah, I got all the spare parts at the end. So I was already built humble. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, nobody wants to see this when there's literal like OF girls with like huge boobs and huge asses. Like, why would anyone want to look at me? But I don't want to do that either.
I mean,
like,
there's a
market for everyone. So there's like some dude out there looking for some plain Jane tomboys that wear makeup.
Man, probably. Like I make it pretty known that I'm queer. I still get hit on all the time
by dudes. Yeah, and I get hit on all the time by girls. And well, I get hit on by guys and girls, but and like you were telling me, apparently I give off like a very bisexual energy.
I would think that. I mean, I think that's a huge compliment.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, because my gay friend, like one of my best friends, he was telling me, he's like, you just give off bisexual. And we have this running joke that if I had never gotten married, I would have moved in with him and would have been roommates. And he calls me a pansexual bohemian. So he's like, you would have just been living your best pansexual bohemian lifestyle. And so that's our joke.
I think it's a compliment. Like you're able to pull both genders.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, like girls like me. And I don't know. I'm just like, I mean, it is kind of like a little ego boost because I know women, we're like hard, you know, we're like, we got standards a lot of them, you know?
I mean, that should blow your head up. Like,
so if a girl thinks I'm kind of cute, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, like I do get giddy. It's funny because like if like a dude will hit on me, I'm like, thanks. You know, but then like a girl hits on me, I'm like, oh.
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I get asked so many times, like, are you bi? Are you bi? And I'm just like, everyone in these streets just thinks I'm bisexual, but
you have that magnetic energy, girl.
I mean, I don't know if I am or not though. Like, I just said, like, because I guess they asked me, and I'm like, well, I can't say no because it's not like I just never met a girl that I was like, oh my god, you know.
So this is what I usually like to ask, because typically a lot of like bisexual or like bi-curious or like girls that are testing out their waters, you know, they're always gonna fucking seek out the veteran and lesbian.
You're like the hat. You're like,
I'm just like, man, I'm just like,
you got the veteran hat.
Yeah, you know, so they're just like just wanting to try out their weird sexual fantasies with me, and like before it was fun, but I'm kind of like at that phase.
You're like over it now.
I'm so fucking over it, man. Like I'm just trying to find my person, you know.
You're like, I'm tired of these streets. Like,
yeah, like and then like what I was telling you earlier, like it was just like, bro, like I had feelings for you and you fucking dropped like a fucking bomb on me, you know.
Okay, so tell us what happened with that. Like we gotta hear this story.
So okay, normally I'm pretty private about my relationships, and like you know you follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like I never like show who I'm with.
I'll see a hand or a boob.
Right.
Yeah, you'd be like, look at her titties. I'm like, look at T.
Yeah. But it's like you never see a face, right?
No, never.
And I was briefly dating this girl, I want to say like a month and a half. It wasn't even that long. But
that's like long for today's terms.
In lesbian terms, that's like a whole year.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because we move fast. Because it's like the dating pool is small. So once we find someone that we like, they call it, the U-Haul lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and then our dates, they last for like days.
Like one date?
One date will last for like 3 days. It's like a stereotype because it's funny,
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like you find someone you vibe with and you just want to keep hanging out with them. So that's like this stereotype. Like,
is it because it's like, because like women, we want to hang out, whereas dudes tend to be like, okay, well, I'm getting you an Uber.
Yeah, peace, right?
Yeah.
Like with women, it's like when you're in a relationship with a woman, it's more like emotionally connecting.
So y'all want to hang out
all the time.
Oh, that's cute.
And then we talk about our feelings,
like good stuff.
Yeah, shit like that.
Do each other's makeup.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Yeah. So like I was dating this girl, and it wasn't that long, but if you talk to each other every single night for hours on ends, like I would say like minimum 2 hours to 4 hours,
like every night,
every single night. And the first time we ever FaceTime, it lasted 5 hours.
What the fuck?
I didn't even know my phone could like.
How do you even go pee?
I don't think I did.
You don't did. You just like sat there and
we just stared at each other. Yeah.
FaceTime is a little weird for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like and then like we finally met in person.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually kind of funny because like we matched on Hinge.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we finally like met in person, at first, she kind of told me like, I've never been with a woman before, but I would ask her like the questions like, do you see yourself like long term with a woman, like marriage, kids, whole shebang, right?
Yeah.
And she would tell me like yes, like with confidence, right? And then so, and it comes back to the conversations like, how do you know if you're into women?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I like to ask the questions like, well, when you look at a woman, when you compliment her, is it more so like, hey, I like your outfit, or I want to be you? Or is it, hey, I want to fuck you?
That's pretty blatant out there.
It's
yeah,
right.
No, but yeah,
because when girls are like, I think I might be into girls, and I'm like, would you fuck her? Like, or like when you're checking her out, what are you checking out?
Is it like with a guy when you're like, damn, I want to take him home or something?
Yeah, okay, right. Because that's how I see women.
Okay.
Yeah, because when a beautiful woman walks by, I'm just like, whew. You're
like,
I was like, I will wear that bitch's neck, like her legs, like a necktie, So it's like,
T.
I know, vulgar. I know.
No, I mean,
I'm usually a gentleman, I swear.
Gentleman.
But yeah, so it's like I asked her like all the hard questions, and it's just like at the time she seemed very confident in her questioning, right? So. It got to the point at one point where she was like, hey, maybe we should do something casual. And I was like, no, I'm very intentional with my dating, especially when I'm looking for something serious. Like if you're just wanting something like casual, like fuck, that's fine. But
you're like done with that.
But I'm done with that.
You're tired.
Yeah. And then like, we went on our date and it was like, there was obvious chemistry and connection there. And physical attraction. She's very beautiful. And so she was just kind of like, I'm feeling this, I'm ready to kind of take this to the next step, and I was like, I thought you wanted something casual. And she was like explaining, like, she's like, what I meant by casual was like, I want to slow things down. Like you're 100% of knowing how you are.
Okay.
Of yourself.
So she just doesn't like know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was explaining like, I'm only like 15%. She's like, obviously like until tonight, I had never even held hands with a woman. And so I was like, okay, like, trying to be understanding. I even tried to give her a cop out. I was just like, if you just want to fuck, we can just fuck, because right now there's no feelings involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
like, and then you go in knowing that, so you don't get attached.
Right.
Yeah.
And I gave her that cop out, and she was like, well, wouldn't it be more romantic like if it happened organically and I came to visit you in Dallas? This was a long distance thing.
Okay.
And I was like, romantic? I was like, you're going to come visit me in Dallas? I was confused.
Yeah.
I was confused. So I was like, okay, I guess she does like want to, pursue something more serious.
I mean, because that's like to come to Dallas to see you. Like,
yeah, she lives in Missouri.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't think that was casual.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I wouldn't just like fly somewhere for just some quick pee.
And
you know?
but and like maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I think that's kind of serious.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna go like travel to see someone that y'all never met before in person.
Before that, no.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's
so we
Yeah.
actually met in California. We matched in California because we just so happened to be
in like the same area.
same area.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, that's a pretty big step to be like, I'm gonna come see you in Dallas.
and I didn't pressure her. Like I didn't
that was all her.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And then like with me, I'm kind of like I'm just gonna see where this goes, right? So I didn't even mention it. The next day she was like, yeah, so I can't wait to visit you in Dallas, blah 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 blah. She mentioned it like 3-4 times and like would like send me like her availability, and she's like, I'm gonna check out flights. So I was
what?
So I was like, wow, I guess she's serious,
Yeah.
So if you're like making future plans like that, I would think that it's a little bit more than casual.
Yeah, that's like almost a relationship.
Right.
Yeah, like I wouldn't fly for someone.
Right.
Yeah.
And like we weren't exclusive. Like I think she had brought up like the terms of like, when are we going to be exclusive, or like what are the terms of being exclusive? And I kind of told her like, hey, like we only met once. I would love to see you like in your stomping grounds, and I want you to see me in my stomping grounds in like different scenarios. Like I would want to see you around your friends. I want you to see me around my friends. Because like, what if like you get with someone, you don't really know them, and they turn out to be a total bitch or something like that, right?
Dude, yeah.
Like, like, or they don't even get along with your friends, or your friends don't even like them,
or maybe you don't even like how they are,
right?
Apart from like when you're just hitting on each other,
right? So like we both agreed to like take things really slow in terms of like relationship, because like, have you heard of like the 3-month rule?
No.
So like there's my therapist told me, it's like you truly don't know someone until like the 3-month mark. That's when like they take off their mask and they show their true colors, right?
Damn, okay.
Because everyone is obviously going to put their best foot forth.
Yeah,
like when
they want you to like them.
Yeah, because and then like and then of course when you're dating someone, they're only going to show you parts of them, right?
The good stuff.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I really want us to divulge and understand each other and get to see the real us. So like, we both agreed that we were taking things slow. We never really talked about like feelings. I mean, I did tell her that I liked her,
Yeah.
And then it's kind of obvious if you're talking to each other every single night.
You kind of like each other.
You kind of like each other. And then, like, and the banter was amazing. She had really good communication. I would say something once, like I had told her, I was like, yeah, like mostly in relationships, my love language, or I mean like my attachment style in relationships, I'm a little bit more on the anxious side, but in every other aspect, I'm secure. So like she remembered that. And so she would be like, hey, sorry, like I'm super busy at work, just letting you know, blah, blah, blah. So she's like very...
like making sure you knew. Like,
yeah.
She wasn't just like ghosting or something.
Yeah. So like I felt very secured. I felt very safe. And then I had went to go visit her because she, like the 2 dates that she was available, it was something about like she couldn't find a babysitter for her cats or something like that. So she's like, hey, I'm going to book my ticket to Dallas to come see you in November. And then I was like, in my head, I was like, so are you still free that one weekend? And she's like, yeah, I just don't have a babysitter for my cat, so that's why I can't leave, So I was like, well, like if you're up to it, like I don't mind like coming to see you. And so she's like, yeah, come.
Okay.
So it's like you are inviting someone to your home.
Yeah.
To see where you live.
That's like big.
That's pretty big because I don't invite like
hell no.
I never invite anyone to my
Same.
house. Right?
I don't even like people at my house.
That's what I'm saying.
Not like strangers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like I would think that that's a little serious. You know?
It's like your house. It's like sacred.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like we have a really great weekend. And I thought that we were like progressing a little bit more into the relationship. It was like I felt more deeply connected to her. And, obviously just being around her and just kind of seeing her more in person, like we were just really vibed. And like,
so everything was going great.
Everything was great. And then the next day.
The eclipse?
No, it was starting to become the eclipse.
Okay.
Yeah, it was starting to become the eclipse. It was the week of the eclipse.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a chaotic week.
It was a chaotic week.
Yeah, it was.
But it was like a really great weekend with her. Like she even was like, oh man, like I really don't want this to end. Like, like having such a great time, and The next day, I sent her a screenshot between her and my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she got really butthurt because I like what was meant to be endearing and gushing over her. I think it triggered like an insecurity.
Okay.
And it hurt her. And I took full responsibility. I was like, because she was like, fuck, that's a backhanded compliment. And I was like, oh, fuck, like I can kind of see how it could be a backhanded compliment.
Like misconstrued.
Right. Yeah. And I, apologized profusely. And it was really shitty because I felt really bad because she called me crying and was like, dude, you deflated my ego. You made me feel like shit. Like, how can I trust you? And I was like, fuck, like, I'm so sorry. Like, what can I do to fix this? I understand that I broke your trust, but I'm committed to rebuilding that trust. And to me, like, I understand that, like, it really hurt her, but the comment itself wasn't a big deal to me.
Yeah.
But of course I can't say that to her. I didn't want to invalidate her feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
So, she ends up trying to break up with me. And like hits below the belt and was like, why am I doing all these things to like be with you? And I was like, what?
Like, ouch.
Yeah. And I was just like, what the hell,
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not cool. Like, why did you hit below the belt? And she was just like, don't play victim. And I was like, ma'am, I'm not playing victim. I'm trying to communicate with you. And then I'm letting you know that I'm sorry that I hurt you, but I didn't mean to.
Like, you didn't do it malicious
at all.
Yeah.
She even said it herself. She was like, I know that you're not that type of person. I know you didn't mean it like that. And then so I was just like, why are you holding it over
but
my
I'm
head?
still gonna be in my feels.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's fine. You're in your feels. You're, that's okay. But that's not okay for you to hurt me because you're hurt.
Yeah.
Right. And then she was like, you know what? Like, I just don't think that we should continue this anymore. There's just so much against us. And I was just like, are you sure about that? And she's like, I don't know. So I was just like, okay, well, I still want to work things out. So I kind of like put my head out there and I was just like, I have feelings for you. I think that after hanging out with each other after this weekend, like it kind of solidified the feelings that I had for you. And she was just like, okay, let's just try this out. I think it'll be okay. So I was like, cool. Next day, flipped the fucking switch, dude. Was like,
was that the day of the eclipse?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the day of the eclipse. Yeah, the next day she was just like, yeah, full transparency, like you being vulnerable, like, I thought we were baby stepping this. So like I was baby stepping my feelings for you. And, basically was just like, I thought that I like liked women, but I don't think I can go on another day of my life without having dick. And I was just like, what?
That's hurtful though.
As fuck. And
yeah.
You don't say that to a queer person.
No. Well,
you
shouldn't.
No.
It's like you can't control that you don't have a dick.
So it's like it's kind of like a punch in the gut because
you can't.
It's just something that I can't control.
I mean, you could change it if you wanted to, sort of, but like it's like if a person's in a wheelchair and then you're like, I just want somebody that can walk.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Kind of fucked up.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
So it's like it's basically like she spent this whole weekend and was like, you're so amazing, you're great, you're perfect, but you don't have a dick, so
bye.
And I was just like,
no eggplant.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, I mean, there's other alternatives, and then she like had mentioned like something. She's like, yeah, but it's different whenever like a guy enters you and you become one with the guy. And I was just like, yeah, that's out,
You're like, bye.
Yeah, so I was just like, whatever, and even then I wasn't upset when she said that. It was more like, well, I can't force sexuality on you. That's just what you prefer. The thing that fucking got me riled up though was I was like, okay, did you always have these thoughts? And she was like, no, I thought about this today. And I was like, okay, so had we not had that conflict, which in my opinion wasn't that even big of a conflict, would you had still had those thoughts? And she was just like, I think I would have repressed them and tried harder to make this work. But I think it still would have been in the back of my head. And that sucked because it kind of like solidified that she already knew her sexuality. So I felt very used. Plus she love bombed me the fuck.
Yeah.
during the relationship.
I mean, it makes you feel used for sure.
During the relationship, because it was like, who has all that fucking time?
It's like she used you to figure out if she could be into women.
But then I was confused because it was like, if I gave you a cop out, I gave you a cop, you could have just taken that cop out instead of you kind of wasted my time.
Did she though, or did she just kind of want to figure out what it was like being with a woman in general? And then she just went for it because she's like, well, she's willing to come here, or I can go see her and I get to just try it out and see what it's like.
I mean, what's your perspective? Like, to me, I would like to say I don't believe that she's a bad person.
Is this person like out or no?
No.
Okay. See, if I were her and I wasn't out and I never dated, like I never even held a girl's hand or anything, but then there was like a person like you or something, and they y'all were willing to be like, well, I'm telling you, like, I don't know or whatever, but you're like, well, I'm willing to, like, just see, like, we can see or whatever. If I were her, I'd probably go for it. Yeah. I mean, because you kind of offered, but then at the same time, though, when you're giving me a cop out, I think I would have used that opportunity to be like, listen, like, I don't know for a fact if I can do this, but since you're mentioning the cop out, like, why don't we just see where it goes? And then, like, if I'm vibing with you, then I might be open to it. But I'm telling you now, like, maybe I'm not.
She didn't even give me that.
Because that would feel more honest.
Yeah, she didn't even give me that. Yeah. It was more like she was like kind of love bombing me because
no, like, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, like, well, let's go for it. Like, would talk to me every single night.
Up. Yeah.
Like she told me that she told her family about me.
But she's not out.
No, but like she was like kind of baby
like I have a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she told like her mom, like she's like, so I have a friend that's coming to visit me, and her mom was like, okay, and then she was like, she's a lesbian, and her mom was like, are you, and she was like, I mean, like it was just,
I don't know,
like I don't know, but I don't know, and her mom was just like, okay, and then like she told her grandma about me, and her grandma was like, oh yeah, like that's not a big deal, so like. Just stuff like that.
It does seem like she used you. Like, I don't want to be mean and say like she used you, but like I feel like she did a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
She could have just said like, I know if I was in that situation, I would be like, listen, I've never been with a chick. I don't know what it's like.
But she was doing the most. Like, so she's also like a really big like influencer, right? So she had me on one of her platforms, and I was just like,
she really did love bomb you. Like, she's showing you all this affection and putting on for you, and
so it was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, who has all this time? Like, and then she like tried to weaponize that against me, like
fucked up.
Like I did all this for you, blah 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 blah. And I was like, first of all, I didn't ask you to, And she was like, I'm potentially coming out for you, and I was like, I didn't ask you to come.
Potentially.
I was I was like,
for you.
Yeah, I was
like, you should come out for yourself.
I felt like I was pretty understanding and patient. I was just like, it's your own journey. Because I remember whenever I came out, I was really scared. I didn't want.
Were you little? Like,
I was in college.
In college?
I was in college. I was like 19, 20. And I remember like my girlfriend at the time, she was so like free spirited, where she was just like, I want to, I want everyone to know that we're together. And I was like, no, can you not? Like, I got like annoyed. I was just like, please don't post our picture. Like, I don't really want anyone to know.
Did you think your family would be supportive or no?
No.
Were they supportive?
Yeah.
So they were like the complete opposite of what you thought. What was that? Okay, so like when you came out to your family, what was that like? Like, what were you expecting and what happened?
Because I grew up the only child, and also like
you said Baptist, right?
Yeah,
like
hardcore, and then like
were you allowed to like hang out with people, or were you all very like by the Bible?
I was allowed to hang out with people, but it was like I had a curfew.
Okay,
I had a curfew. Like I didn't have a cell phone until I was like in high school.
Damn.
Like super strict.
Actually, I think that's when I had a cell phone too.
But like,
yeah, same.
It was like limited text and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
and, then,
and being foreigner and a girl.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Same with Mexicans. We're like Mexican girls were like locked up. Like, but boys can go and date or whatever. Like, I wasn't even allowed to date till I was like 15 or 16.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was just and then like I had my first girlfriend, and my girlfriend at the time had met my parents, but I told my parents like, oh, this is just my friend. She was my first love, so whenever we broke up, I took it pretty hard. Yeah, pretty hard. And my mom, moms know.
Yeah.
So my mom was just like,
is that how the situation, like your mom was like, was she like your girlfriend or something?
Yeah, and then, but you know, she was just like, oh, it's just a phase, like it'll go away, you know. So I was really fortunate with like my coming out and being accepted by my parents, but it's not a common thing,
Okay.
you know. And I think even in like societal pressure, I can understand why people would be scared to come out. So I was very patient with her journey.
Okay. So clearly we talked about like finding ourselves in different ways, whether it's like our sexuality or our career paths. Now, I know you're a DJ now, but you mentioned at one point that you used to own a restaurant.
Yep.
Okay. Tell me about that. And like, what were you before you were a DJ?
I was a financial broker.
Yeah. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, now I need to know how you ended up there and then how you end up being a DJ from a financial broker.
Right. So I was in college. I actually was studying to be a doctor.
Is that like a thing for Asians too?
Well, I always kind of knew I wanted to be a doctor since I was 6. It just
I'm just asking because, you know, foreign parents always lawyers, doctors. Yeah.
I was in college studying pre-med, and then during that time, that's when I was like going out to party a lot and stuff like that, right? And I was a DJ. That's when I started DJing. And then during that time, after I had graduated, I was dating this girl, and she again wasn't out. Actually, she was out, but it was like I was her first girlfriend, so it was like kind of like a shocker to everyone. Like, oh shit, this girl's dating.
Like she's out.
She's
now.
dating a girl, you know?
Yeah.
So her friend met me because was like, I gotta see who you're dating. Like, how are you dating a girl now? So I met with her friend, and she introduced me to being a financial advisor, basically. And from there, it was kind of like after I had graduated, I didn't pursue being a doctor anymore. I just kind of focused on the corporate world. And from there, you know, I got like Series 6, Series 7. I got licensed in health and life insurance as well. So overall, just like a financial broker.
And then you just did that for how many years?
I did that until during that time I was like 22. I did that until maybe I was 28.
And then where does the restaurant owning come in?
So I stopped my corporate, and during this time I was still DJing.
Okay, and so you're DJing and then doing the corporate.
Yeah, and it was I just realized I hate 9 to 5. I fucking hate it.
Dude, feel that so hard because you're ADHD, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And also like I don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
But I was like a director, so it was like I had people under me too. So it was just like a lot of politics within that company that I worked with, and then my business partner who had brought me in, it was just a lot of stuff that we didn't agree on. So I was just like, man, fuck this, right? So while, you know, still in the DJ industry, still in the nightlife industry, I became really close with the guy that had brought me in initially, and he was the guy that threw parties. So he brought me into and mentoring me to basically throwing badass parties in Dallas.
Okay.
So like I was primarily known for not only being a DJ, but also now being a promoter, and then, you know, partnered into the promotion group that threw these type of parties. And where the restaurant comes in was me and him, we started divulging into different businesses. We ended up opening a events and catering business. I was more on the event side, where I was throwing, you know, events and parties and stuff like that. And then the marketing side, you know, we're rebranding. We would offer like websites and stuff like that, because we just had a whole team.
Yeah.
And we wanted to broaden out our portfolio, and that entailed restaurants. So we partnered into a like kind of almost a failing restaurant, and that's where I became a partner in a restaurant.
Oh, cool. And what kind of restaurant was it?
It was an Asian fusion restaurant. I would say the restaurant business is very hard.
I believe it.
And the location is just like more like lunchtime. It was like in the Las Colinas area. So like during business hours, it was like packed, you know, but like nighttime, it was dead.
Yeah.
And it is so hard to find good help. You know, our managers they were stealing.
Dude,
yeah, and then like
I see that on like Bar Rescue.
right, and
It's
then
always the employees.
and then like wait staff, they're not doing a good job, and then just shitty business partners as well. Like that one guy I ended up partnering up with in the restaurant. I got an investor to give $50,000 just for the restaurant business, right? That motherfucker took that money and bought himself a Corvette.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Just like shamelessly?
Yeah. And it was like, and I was like, what happened to the money? And he was just like, I don't know. I thought we put it in the restaurant. I was like, and it just,
dude.
you know, just so coincidentally, he just got a new fucking Corvette. And I was just like,
how do you get out of that? Because you bought in, right? You were a partner? Did you own like shares in it or anything?
Yeah, so I had shares in it, but I didn't buy in. I was just it was more of like they call it a management agreement. So I didn't put any of my money in.
So you were able to get out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because it sucks if you.
But I didn't make any money off it.
That's.
But it also sucked because it was as far as marketing purposes, it was me.
Yeah.
Like they would interview me. You know, like I was known as the face of the restaurant.
So if it fails, you feel like it makes you look bad.
Right. So that was where the restaurant business like came about. It was very short lived. I would say like 6 months.
So when you got out of the restaurant business, did you just decide to go like full into the DJ thing?
Yeah. And then I got out of it, and then I wanted to kind of settle down and stuff like that. And then that's kind of where like the e-commerce, and I started aligning myself with other business.
So what do you do now as far as e-commerce?
I sell my own brands. So like if you go on like Amazon or like even Shopify, it's like certain products are like the same things, but they're different names.
Yeah.
So it's called private labeling.
Kind of like Alibaba?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like, let's say like I get this cup, right? I'll just slap my logo on it. That's
and then
my
you
brand,
can sell it. Kind of like this legit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then okay, that's cool. So like drop shipping kind of almost?
Not really, because in a sense, but I sell on Amazon. And then I also do like online arbitrage. This is where you will buy like brand name stuff, like let's say like this water bottle, like Kroger water bottle, right? I'll buy it for $2. I'll resell it on Amazon for like $5.
Dude, so would you say like that's pretty chill, like passive income?
At the beginning, no.
Because it's hard to like get the brand out.
Right.
Yeah.
But once you started getting it out, then yeah.
What are you selling on Amazon?
Just random shit, dude.
like what?
Like random shit. Like I have like I sell baby blankets. I sell like VR golf clubs. I sell like I don't know, like bird feeders. It's like really random shit. It's random shit, but it makes sense data wise.
But it sells?
It sells, yeah.
Dude. Would you be willing to share how much that brings in?
Let's just say I live pretty comfortably. Like I have my own house. I don't have any roommates.
And that's just from that. So it's passive-ish.
Yeah.
So so you would say like the work is like getting it started, getting the stuff like branded, and getting motion.
Yeah, you would need a lot more like capital
to start
funding. But like if you do it the right way, like how I kind of learned, and like I've always been kind of street smart. I use other people's money. And when I say by using other people's money, I say like open up an LLC, get a business credit card, put it on your business credit card.
How the fuck do you get a business credit card?
You apply for a LLC?
Yeah, I have an LLC.
Yes.
I just have a regular business card though.
Yeah.
So is that it?
So you just need your EIN and you go to the bank and be like, I want a business card or a business credit card.
I have one.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're like, I don't know the limit on it, I guess.
Yeah, you have to check that. But like with me, I like to stack, right? So like I'll purposely get business credit cards that will give me like travel points. So like I can't even tell you the last time I spent money on a flight.
Damn. And you are smart. See, like I don't know that side of business. Yeah. So I'm still learning. I'm still like figuring shit out, just trying not to get my assets taken by the IRS, little things like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like with like perks of like having like a good credit card as well. Like this, like I just fucking cracked my phone. My credit card has insurance on my phone.
Damn,
so
that's
like, just
good.
Like shit like that,
Yeah. No, I mean I have a good credit score and everything because like a couple years ago my credit score was like legit in like the 500s. It was bad. Yeah. That's when I was like real broke and stuff. And now it's like the upper, like 700s or whatever.
Right.
So I guess I don't know like no one in my family's ever been in business, and I didn't ever know anybody. So we're just like winging life. We're just like figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say like aligning yourself with like
Mm-hmm.
the people that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, what's that saying? It's like you don't ever ask fitness advice from a fat person or something like that, right?
I mean, unless you're like a sumo wrestler,
Right.
Or
but it's like
yeah.
if you want to achieve something, because like I wouldn't say I'm like super smart, like book
Mhm.
smart, but I would say that like I align myself with people, like even DJing. Like
Mhm.
I surrounded myself being in a booth, watching them,
Mhm.
how they do it, and I kind of picked up on it.
So like being around people that are like better
Yeah.
or up there with you.
Yeah, yeah. And then and then like just I've cut out a lot of like people and distractions.
Mhm.
I don't take advice from someone that I wouldn't personally like look up to,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of bad advice out there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So like the people that I do seek advice is like someone that's doing way better than me
Mhm.
or has already done it. And then like people are so scared to like ask questions because they're like, "Oh,
Like, you don't want to seem dumb.
you don't seem dumb," but it's like nobody's good at anything the first time.
Yeah.
So like if I find someone that's in a niche or like that's doing a business that I'm interested in, I'll ask them a shitload of questions if they're willing to answer, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that's what holds me back too. It's like we know a lot of people that are like above us, but we don't ever like asking a lot of questions because like I know people do it to us, but we're nice. Like I'll answer people's questions if I know the answer, but I always feel like I'm bugging people. Or like I don't want them to be like, is that why you're talking to me? So you can just like figure out all my knowledge or whatever. But it's not. Like
Yeah.
it's like if you happen to know and I just want to ask, but I don't want to offend people either by like just they're like, maybe they want to talk about the weather and I'm over here like, how'd you make your first million?
I mean, it just depends. Like
Yeah.
I would say like everything in my entire life is just all through networking. And
Yeah, networking is big.
and that's just what it is.
Mhm.
And like, if you just want to ask them, just like, hey, like I would love to pick your brain, like put them in the right headspace,
Yeah. Yeah, I am gifted in that, like the way in asking. It's like I can be charming, I guess, I'm also anxious. So I'm always like, oh, I don't want to like annoy people, like asking too many questions. But I watch a lot of Shark Tank. So that's where I've like learned a lot of like the business terms and stuff that I didn't know before. Which, I mean, it's Shark Tank or whatever, but they're like, they do talk about real deals and stuff. And I kind of get to see like what businesses fail. Like obviously the beverage business is tough. And just different businesses. And I kind of see how the sharks are, but that's where I struggle. So like, even though I'm an Aries, like moon and rising, I'm not a very like aggressive or assertive person. So like say I had a company and had employees and they weren't like performing correctly or something, it would be hard for me to be like, hey, like you're slacking and I need you to I like wouldn't want to hurt their feelings. I know.
I mean, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses.
That's my weakness is like I don't know. And it's probably just because of how I grew up, everything was criticism and I knew it made me feel like shit. So I feel like I don't even know how to properly criticize people unless it's like design, because in design, that's my business, you know? But I don't know how to like tell people like, oh, you're doing this wrong and not feel like I'm going to hurt their feelings.
Right.
You know, I know it's dumb, but
Yeah. I mean, it's just, to me, like with everything, it's just asking,
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that my mom like kind of instilled in my head was like, if you don't know the question to something, just ask.
That's true.
So like with me, like if I don't know something, I'll find someone to ask. Like even my Amazon business, I hired a business mentor to help scale up my business because he probably knows something that I don't.
No, that's smart. How do you find out where to like hire a business mentor? Did you just like Google?
No, yeah, just like I'm in a lot of like Facebook groups for like entrepreneurship and stuff like that, and this one was particularly for like Asian networking, and he had a good like.
Dude, that's like smart because I've always felt kind of apart from like the Latin or the community, and I've been wanting to like work more with more Latinos and just. Because there's a lot of Latin businesses that could use like marketing and stuff that I do. And I speak Spanish too and stuff. So I've been thinking about that. And it would just be nice to kind of like be with my community too.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Because all my life, I've just kind of just worked with everyday Americans.
It's different.
Yeah,
It's
and
different.
people see Latinos and they think, like food trucks or janitors or
It's so much more.
Yeah, there's so much more. Like there's a lot of us now that are in different spaces, and like I know I take pride in being like a Latina and a designer. Like I'm a graphic designer, I have my degree in it and everything. So I think it's cool because I remember when I worked in corporate, I would see like the janitors cleaning up my space, and people were not that people were rude, but people don't give a shit. They just like leave a mess because like the janitor will clean it up,
Right.
And I always made it a point when the janitors would come in, I would just talk to them because people just ignore them, and I would just like say hi. Tell them thank you for cleaning up my space. I would try to like leave it a little bit not so dirty, trash everywhere. And I could see that they really appreciated that. But in my head, I was always like, damn, like it sucks that as Latinos, like this is how people see us. And, people don't even talk to them at work. They're just a janitor. But then I'm one of them too. And I'm here and I'm in the group of people that they probably don't think they can even aspire to be for whatever reason. So I always try to like reach out and talk. But yeah, it would be cool to like work more within my community because I've never been like close knit to my own community. So I don't even know.
Yeah.
Do you work a lot with like Asian communities or?
Not so much now. Before, like, because obviously, like, but it's the club industry, So club industry was just like mostly I would throw Asian parties. Like primarily the demographic was Asian, but
they party a lot.
Fuck, yeah.
There's like a lot of holidays, right?
Like I had events like 5 times out of the week.
Because I know Mexicans party a lot too.
Yeah,
it's like a quinceañera. It's a baby shower. Everything is a party.
Yeah, we partied from like Wednesday to Sunday, basically. Like it was just insane. But yeah, it's just as far as like being more like involved in the community, as far like business and charity wise, I would want to be more involved. But it's just like just being, I don't know, kind of more relatable. Like if I see an Asian person and they're talking about business, I would probably be more keen to rather than like a white person.
Yeah, because like the struggle too, like, and they don't have access a lot of the times to like business or mentors,
right,
or people like that.
And it's not like I'm racist or anything like that.
No.
It's just more like it's just I relate more within my ethnic group.
Yeah, well, and because you want to help bring these opportunities to people that maybe would feel uncomfortable asking like a white person or any other person for advice or something because they don't want to seem ignorant or some people get, they get mistreated when they ask questions to like other people like that. But it's kind of cool. I really think I want to branch out and do that too.
Yeah.
And just be, because like my neighborhood now, it's like primarily Hispanic. And I think it's cool because I never really got to live like that before. I always lived in like white neighborhoods or whatever. So, and when you're like a foreign kid and you're just trying to fit in anyway and learn English, you just like assimilate. And there was a time where I wouldn't even really like try to connect with my Mexican culture, which I'm ashamed of now, but I just wanted to fit in and be liked, and I just wanted to learn English, and I just wanted to be normal.
Now it's the opposite.
Yeah, now I'm all about my Mexican stuff. But I don't know, did you ever like feel that way like as a foreign kid, like you wanted to be more white than you really were?
Yep. I'm ashamed to say like
no, it sucks, right?
Like because I moved from California and then we moved to Mansfield.
Oh, that's like the burbs.
Yeah. We moved to Mansfield, so it's primarily like white.
Yeah.
White. So all my friends were white. And like I remember like telling my parents, I was just like, oh, I wish I was white. Like I didn't even like to eat Asian food at that point.
Because you get them remarks about, like our food, like the food.
Right. And it wasn't until like maybe after I graduated high school, up until college, I didn't really have like even really Asian friends. I had like maybe 1 or 2. But I was just like, oh, the whole time I was like, I wish I was white. And then it was until I got to college, I started embracing
like your culture,
my culture and my like ethnic groups and stuff like that. Because I went to UTA, which is like primarily all Asians.
Is it?
Yeah. University of Arlington. So it's like, and
so
that's
you like got to be immersed in the culture and stuff.
Right. Yeah. And then when I came out, my first girlfriend was Asian. So I just kind of stuck.
Dang.
Yeah.
See, I never really had the opportunity. Like I grew up in like the Dallas area and then we moved to this like really small town and it was like primarily white Christian. So I was like one of maybe 6 Mexicans in my school.
Wow.
But the other Mexicans were kind of hardcore. Like they didn't really want to like speak English. Like they were very much about being Mexican, which is cool. But all my friends were white and we just liked different music. I was like an emo kid and they were listening to like Spanish music or, we just never, I was too white for them, but I was too brown for the white kids.
Right.
So I was like in this weird fucking, like, I
Limbo.
don't, yeah. And I just wanted everyone to like I wanted the Mexican kids to like me, but then I didn't want to be as Mexican either because I didn't want the white people to think that I was just gonna, I guess my beef was I would get remarks sometimes from other kids like, you know, you're a kid, they see a gardener and it's like a Mexican, like, oh, you're gonna be like that, you know?
Right.
And in my head I would be like, damn, like that sucks that people think like, not that there's anything wrong with being a gardener, but you know, that they think I'm gonna be that. You know?
Right.
So it's the same. It was really like college, after the Navy even, when I really started embracing being Mexican. But like I remember seeing you and Vu and Annie, and I was like, I just thought it was so cool that you had like a lot of like Asian friends. And then I started getting in my feels because I was like, man, I have like very few Mexican friends, even now, like very few. And it sucks because like I love the culture and all that, but I'm like, what are you gonna like meetmexicans.com? Like, I don't know.
And I honestly, I feel like even like at our age, it's hard. It's hard to make friends.
It really is,
because it's like I have millions of acquaintances, but
same.
But like true friends that I can count on, it's like on one hand.
Yeah,
like
same.
my ride or dies, you know.
Yeah, it's one hand.
And like my friends, I'm very fortunate to say that like I've been friends with them for years.
Same.
Years.
Sounds like back in the day, like middle school.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean not that far.
Oh, mine go back to fucking middle school.
Yeah, like my best friend I met in college, but we've been best friends for like 13 years. You know, and then like even Annie and Vu, like I've known Vu for like 5 years.
I feel like that's about how long. No, we've known Vu longer, right? Vu? When did we meet Vu? 2016. So yeah, like 7 years.
Yeah,
that we've known Vu.
Yeah. And like, kind of like how I met Vu is from Instagram. He randomly messaged me and was like, "Hey, like I'm starting out as a videographer. I would really like to like take some videos of you for free.
DJing?
Yeah, you for free." And then
because he's in that club scene.
Yeah, because he was trying to get into that, and then that's how me and him became friends, and that's how he got into the club scene because of me.
Yeah, no, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think we met him through Instagram too.
But it's all through networking, you know.
Yeah.
It's all just all through networking.
That's what we know hella people too, a lot of artists and creatives and all that. But like for me to say like friends,
yeah,
it's very, very few. And like I think my oldest friend, I met him when I was like 3 and he was 4.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like my first friend. And they were Hispanic, so he could speak Spanish because I still didn't know English. And I remember us meeting and playing on our bikes and everything. And like we're still friends to this day. And now he has kids, and one of his kids, his son, looks just like him. So it's weird because when his little kid was like 3, it was like, dude, you have a kid now that's like the age when I met you.
Wild.
He's like your clone. Like his kid looks just like him. And then my other friends are from like middle school and up. Not anybody like really recent that I would have like as a friend, maybe like 1 or 2 people. But that's what sucks. It's like now as an adult, you meet friends and like I feel like people have falling out all the time. But for stupid fucking shit, dude. And it's not even me. Like I'm willing to move past things, but it's just like if you ask me to forgive you, I will. But if you never ask me for forgiveness, like I forgive you, but I don't think we can be like friends.
Right.
You know?
I'm not gonna fuck with you like that.
Yeah, and that's where we're at with like several people that I thought we were friends. Like they did some stupid shit. They never really apologized, and then we just kind of like faded. Like it just never spoke again. So it sucks because I'm always in my feels. I'm like, do people like our age ever make friends anymore? Like real friends where you're gonna be like talking to these people 10 years from now?
Yeah, I get told all the time that I'm super blessed that I have like a really strong support system within my friends.
No, it is a blessing.
And so your tattoos, what does the 369 stand for?
So Nikola Tesla said that if you wanted to understand the secrets of the universe, look into 369. And there's this whole thing, it's called the 369 manifestation, and Nikola Tesla would do it. So sometimes when he would be working on projects, he would kind of like lose motivation. So he has this, in the way that he would manifest things or figure out solutions was in his 369 method, which is you wake up in the morning, you write down your intention 3 times. And then later in the afternoon, you write down that same intention 6 times. And then before you go to bed, you write it 9 times. And you do this every day with that intention. And the whole point to him was that by him doing this, he's taking time, because he said that the secret of the universe is if you can understand frequencies and vibrations, you can understand the entire mysteries of the universe.
Interesting.
And he felt that you could literally like manipulate reality with just your thoughts and manifesting. So I have these numbers here because also having the numbers or being aware of them, he said, like, it's like, I guess how we were talking earlier about a cheat code in the Matrix.
Right.
It's just like once you're aware of it and you try to manifest and stuff like that, it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the numbers because they're important to me. And then I have the snake that represents knowledge. And of course, the sun and moon. That's more to represent duality, you know, like night and day, light and dark. So I have those there to always remember, and it does keep me in check. Like there's a lot of things, and I do the 369 method. And of course, I'm not a millionaire yet, so it's obviously still in progress.
Right.
But yeah. And then I have the 777 because the 7 is like my number. Like it's in all my shit. Like my birthday is mostly composed of 7s. I like the look of the number 7. A lot of things, every 7 years, something major happens in my life too. It's kind of crazy. And then just the Fibonacci sequence or the Fibonacci swirl, which is like sacred geometry. Like everything exists within everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, are you familiar with like, this popped up on my TikTok recently, and he talks about like numerology.
Yeah.
Depending on like what days you're born, it's just part of
like if you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
Or things
Or like,
like
if
that.
you're good looking, like good looking people are born on like the 5th or blah 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 blah. Like really lucky successful people are going to be born on the 8th
on like
or
the 11th or something.
Yeah,
like
or like the mothers of the population are going to be born on this date.
So I have this like my birthday is 7/17/87.
Wow.
I know, yeah. And so in Mexico it's very common that you have like shaman friends or just people that are numerologists or santeros, you know, they're like in this life somehow. Anyone I've ever given my birthday to, they like get chills, and that I'm like, it's just 7/17/87, and they're like, oh God, that's like such a great number, like that's God's number, and they freak out over my birthday, and I don't know why. And I have a friend now, her name's Sarah, and she's actually an astrologer, so she has her own podcast and everything. They talk about astrology, and she does this thing called human design.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've done mine.
Okay, so she did mine for me. And it turns out like my birthday, she was like shook by my birthday too. Like she thought it was very meaningful, like a very important date. She feels like because of my birthday, like she even got onto some of my like abilities, if you will, like just little things that I have or can do. Like I was telling you earlier, like paranormal. But it turns out that I'm a manifester. Okay. Which is like 1% of the population. It's really rare. But anyway, manifestors. So the way she told it to me, she thinks it's kind of crazy that I'm so like self-conscious and like low self-esteem and shit like that, because technically manifestors were like, she said that I'm on this plane to do what I want, when I want, however I want. Like manifestors were literally here to like influence people, create new ways of thinking, innovate. So she's like, I'm not surprised that you're an artist. Like this is exactly what a manifestor would do, because you want to be in the spotlight. She's like, your gift is speaking. She's like, you need to speak, you need to share the information that you know, and just like believe in yourself. And she's like, you can do whatever you want. Like you literally have this gift. And it was so cool. Like everything she said, like I totally like aligned with. And now I have this information, and she says it's just like, it's hard for me because I guess I don't have the ego of a manifester. You know, like, you know, because the manifestors that know who they are, like these are literally people like making like political rules and just things in the world. They're making shit happen. Right. And so there's a lot of power behind it. But I guess if you're like me, where you're not like fully tapped into that yet, then not that it's like a waste of potential, but like there's so much more I could be doing. But I'm my own worst enemy, unfortunately. Yeah. So I'm fighting myself daily to try to be like, to like kind of get into my power and not fall to imposter syndrome, where you start talking down on yourself. Right. Like, am I really the best at the, you know, like if like for DJ, you could be like, am I really the best DJ? You know, like people really care.
I struggle with that myself. Yeah? Like I get interviewed all the time. Like I just got interviewed by The Voyage in Dallas. And then I just did one for like Rebel Canvas or something. And then also another one.
Like shout out DFW.
Yeah, shout out DFW.
Yeah.
That I did that one too. And then like even today, like you invited me to be on your podcast. And like I'm just like, I don't really think I'm that great, you know?
Yeah.
And then like people have, like my friends will have to remind me like, dude, like you are, like that's why these people want to hear from you, you know?
Yeah, like we want to hear like your story. And see, I can see that in other people and be like, why don't you think you're great?
Right.
And then when it's you.
Yeah, right. And then it's just like even like my social media presence, you know, like I get into like, you know, as a creator, you get bursts of inspiration. So like I'll get bursts of inspiration to where I'll want to be creative and create, you know, whereas it's photo shoots, whereas it's, you know, music, whereas it's, you know, even TikToks. And then I get like inconsistent and I'm just like why am I even doing this?
Or do you get cringe from yourself?
Yeah, I get cringe.
Yeah, I get the cringe.
I get hella cringe. But then it's like, with me, my brand is more like lifestyle. I don't want to just be known as like a DJ, but that's, you know, primarily what my reputation is. I want to be known as just T, you know?
Yeah.
But
you gotta like put yourself.
I gotta put myself out there. Even it's, you know, like I slowly started building my TikTok, but I think that's kind of geared towards more fashion. And then, but like my Instagram is a little bit more lifestyle.
Yeah, I have this friend. She's an influencer. We met recently, the basic blogger bitch, and she tells me all the time, like, I need to be on TikTok, because I have a lot of little psychic things with her. Like, I'll tell her things, and it just, like, happens. And she's just like, wait, what? And she's like, you need to be on TikTok, making, like, these psychic videos and talking about this and that. And she sees this person in me that I'm not even. Like, she's trying to get me into like,
you should.
And things like that. But I just like laugh. I feel bad because she's like serious. She's always on my ass. Like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And she just thinks I need to be more on like social media. Because if you notice, I like post hella stories, but I'm never like really like posting.
But the stuff that you post has so much like,
it's like ADHD.
No, but it resonates.
Does it?
Yeah, to me it does.
Because I feel like I curate my stories. It's like curated. The chaos that's up here, it's like curated. No,
I love your stories because I resonate with a lot of it. As far as like, you know, spirituality. As far as like even music.
I have a lot of old school shit on there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
like R&B.
But we grew up in the same era.
Yeah, like
you know?
we did. Yeah.
So it's like I relate so much to it. So I feel like if you can kind of make like a positive impact. Yeah. Even if it's just one or two people.
I was on there for a while talking a lot about like mental health when I first got like diagnosed with anxiety and shit. But then I just like got the cringe, which is I know it doesn't make sense because now I have like this whole podcast, but I cringe when I see myself in videos. Like I'm a photographer, but I don't enjoy being photographed. And then I love talking to people and doing interviews, but I hate being like, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it.
I like honestly, like when I started doing TikToks, I was just like, oh, this is so cringe, right? But then like people were following me and they were asking me for advice, like, oh, like, you know, as far like even just kind of being open as LGBT, like I would get like random messages and just be like, you know, how did you battle this? Or you know, like, what was your experience? So I kind of want to get more into like the LGBT community. Like I feel like that's something that I am not like super into. I do like lesbian pool parties every year. Like we have a really big one. It's called Les Play.
That's cute.
Yeah. And we do, and I do that every year. It's super fun. But as far as like being in like the Oaklawn community, like I'm not super, you know.
I was a little bit in the, just because a lot of my friends were gay,
right.
so I was just kind of like in the community. It's like welcoming and stuff,
right?
But,
I personally don't have a lot of gay friends either.
I used to. I have like a few now. A lot changed as we got older.
Yeah,
I feel like when I was in my party age, like in my 20s, I had more friends than I can count.
Right,
you know?
right.
But once you hit those 30s,
it's hard. And then
everyone starts ditching you, and then you're working all the time.
Well, you're lucky that you're married too, because try adding dating into that equation.
Dude, I'm pretty convinced that I tell Adam all the time, I'm like, dude, if we ever get divorced, I'm literally just gonna be perpetually single because I don't know if I can date.
It's trash.
Climate.
It's trash. Yeah. And like it sucks too because like I feel like I'm a catch. I know I'm a catch.
Yeah.
But it's like
Do you feel like you're too emotional for today's dating? I don't mean like in a bad way. I mean like you actually are not afraid to have feelings, because I feel like people don't want to have feelings anymore.
Yes, and I feel like people nowadays, they don't know what they want.
That's true too.
I mean, going back to the last girl I dated, right? She didn't even fucking know herself, you know? So it's like
shit.
So it's like,
I'm so glad I'm not in these streets.
It sucks,
I
man.
feel like I would be perpetually single. I really
sucks.
would.
Like you know, if I was like a fuck boy, and I know I do come off as a fuck boy, but I'm
not gonna lie. At first, I thought maybe you were.
I mean, I'm not denying it.
No, because you have like swag, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the kids call it now.
Swag. Do they even call it swag anymore?
I don't think so.
Right? I think that's more of our term.
Yeah, you have Riz. Yeah.
Riz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've been told I had Riz. Yeah.
Mad Riz. Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Riz. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, attracting people is not hard. I feel like I'm very charismatic, and then also looks helps.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, I'm kind of over that surface level shit now. I've had my fun where I was like super fuckboy phase. Could have anybody that I wanted, but now
so it does get old.
It gets old.
So how are these people still in these streets? Is it just not old for them yet?
I feel like my purpose in my life is to build a lineage and to build
like a family
and something to leave behind.
Yeah.
Whereas it's, wealth, family, whatever, right? I want to build generational wealth.
Yeah.
But I would have to have a family to do that. And I've always wanted to have kids. So like, let's kind of like when I go back on, like when I go on dates, like that's the first thing I ask. And sometimes it scares people because they're like, well, what the fuck, But I'm just like, don't waste my time.
You don't want to waste your time.
I don't want to waste my time. And and like, imagine dating someone for a year or something like that, and then they tell you like, I don't want to have kids. And you're like, fuck,
No, I feel that.
Right? So it's, to me, and I'm so picky too, because now that I've kind of like worked on myself and also being on a more spiritual
like
level and journey, even if you're physically attractive, to me, that's not going to cut it.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. You need to have connection with me, and you need to have chemistry. And those are two different things.
Dude, since we're talking about all this stuff, I just want to hear your viewpoint. Like we were talking earlier about the Matrix.
Okay.
And I was telling you about NPCs.
Right.
You said like you just barely heard about NPCs.
Right.
Okay. Do you entertain the idea of our reality not being necessarily what we've been told it is? I just kind of want to know.
Yeah.
What makes you think that? Is it kind of these experiences, or do you see patterns in the, because for me, I'm a pattern and numbers person, and I see a lot of patterns. Like I was explaining to you about like DNA code. There's a lot of coding and everything in our reality, and there's patterns in everything. And I don't know if it's because we're ADHD, because ADHD people, we recognize patterns.
Right.
So like, what do you see in reality that makes you wonder, like, is any of this shit even real?
Yeah, because just from personal experience, right? And I think it even goes beyond like are we even supposed to learn some kind of fucking lesson, right? Because like I know that you touch base more like on the Matrix is more like kind of like a server. I see it more like as a spiritual thing. Like, have you seen that movie Soul?
No, a lot of people have told me that I would like it though.
Yeah, you would love it. But it's like, to me, how I see it is like pattern. Like I see synchronicity all the time. Like I see angel numbers all the fucking time, right? And then also like symbolism and like and I believe that there's no such thing as coincidences. Like you meet people for certain reasons, right? Like even today, like I feel so inspired just being around you and Adam, and then just divulging and digging deep into like, but honestly, we always have like really deep conversations.
I know. I just always end up on that bullshit.
Yeah,
like, you can't take me out of it.
I love it, but that's just how I am too. That's how I like my mind ticks too, right? And like if I feel like I can't have these kind of conversations with my person, then they're not my person, right?
Yeah, or even your friends.
My friends, right?
Yeah.
And then that's why I have different kind of friends, because some of them don't understand on that wavelength.
Dude, some people, that's what I'm saying. Like not that my friends are NPCs, but there's just some people where you try to have these deep conversations, but their life is like their 9 to 5, getting drunk, finding somebody to date.
But I can't relate to that.
Yeah, and they just they just go to work, they like play by the rules. They like have this life. They go to work, they come home, they watch football games, they do all the shit you're supposed to do, watch The Bachelor, drink wine, you know, and then and just, I don't know, get married and have the kids and then just keep doing that every day until you die.
Oh man, like, do you believe in destiny or do you believe in fate? Like you know how like sometimes like people would be like, it's like predestined, like you're predestined to do this, this, and this, and this. Like it's written in the stars, right? Or do you have free will?
I feel like yes and no, because I actually was just telling Adam about this. I like made a joke how I was like customizing my avatar. And I told him, I'm like, you know, if we go by like quantum like physics, or if you're thinking about like dimensions and timelines, technically the past, present, and future coexist simultaneously. So right now there's a future T somewhere and she's living at the same time as you are, and there's also your past T, right? And they all, it's not linear like we're meant to believe. It's everywhere. So in order for me, obviously whatever part of the future that I'm in, it means that whatever's happening now obviously had to happen enough to get me to that point in the future, and that of course that ties in my past or whatever. So I was telling Adam, I'm like, oh, my sleeve's still loading. And the way that I meant was like, okay, when you're playing like a game and you customize your character, it's instant, right? Like you buy the package and your character looks how you want it instantly.
Right.
Well, what if for that character, for you it was instant, but for your character, say it took, I don't know, 5 years to get to that point, but for you it was a blink of an eye because you have the power, you're creating it and it's instant for you. But you know how sometimes things have to load and sometimes it takes forever. I'm like, what if that's us? Because like when I play with my Sims, I'll make her go to work or whatever. Right. It takes her the say she works 17 hours. You know how those 17 hours is what? Maybe like 30 minutes of my time. Right. I just like let it load.
But it's forever.
Go get a fucking snack, you know? And it's 17 hours for her. It was 30 minutes for me. Right. So I'm like, what if future me already has my sleeve done, everything? I'm already decked out how I want to look.
And you're a millionaire.
And I'm updating my avatar here. Yeah. But even though I'm already decked out over there, it's done. She did it in an instant. It's still loading in my reality because I don't know any different. Like my sim doesn't know that I control her. She doesn't know I already have her preset to work those 17 hours and it's only 30 minutes for me. Right. So the timeline is different, but it's still happening. So I guess in that way, I do believe in destiny because I feel like future me somewhere is obviously doing something that's allowed for me now to get even to that point, but because of me now, I still had to have the shitty past that I had. You know what I'm saying?
To get that experience.
To get to this experience, to even want to be that future me. So I don't know. Like I feel like yes, we can control it, but I don't know how I believe because it seems fucked up. Then if we all have destinies, how come there's kids that die?
That's what I'm saying.
Early,
yeah.
like no purpose.
Like you know when I get readings on my spiritual or my, you know, the medium or whatever will be like, yeah, so this and this and this will happen, right? But then my spiritual mentor or, you know, friend will just be like, future changes all the time. Like, yeah, like she's like, I don't really trust those because your future can change with like a blink of the eye. But like, let's like, you know, all of my readings have said that I'm supposed to be like incredibly rich.
Same with mine. Yeah. And I'm like, where's the money?
Yeah. Well, I mean, coming from where I started, I would say that I'm really blessed.
Same, for sure.
And, you know, everyone tells me all the time, like, you know, you're a success, blah, 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 blah.
Like this, I'm at the age right now, my parents, we were still like living in an apartment, barely being able to afford rent. Right. And I'm 36 and I have my own house and my mom's like, dude, you got everything you ever wanted. Like it's a brand new house. Like we always had to live in old houses and you know, it's pretty. We always had shitty houses. Like you wanted to be an artist and you did it. Like everything I said I was going to do, I did it. Right. Yeah.
So like you said, you're just maybe
it's loading.
It's loading. Yeah.
It's loading.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I see it. I don't know. Like
so you believe in destiny?
I would say I would kind of piggyback off your answer. Yeah, piggyback
like it's
off.
there, but maybe not there.
Yeah, like maybe like it might have changed in a way where, you know, the reading that I got was different. Like the reading that I had this year, some of it didn't come true. Or like maybe it did. Like,
but we don't know the timeline.
But we don't know the timeline, right?
Yeah.
But she kind of gave me a timeline, but it's not like adding up to the timeline that she said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
but you know, it's the same. Like, I could make my sim be a journalist for 17 hours, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make her a chef.
That's
and
true.
I just make her a chef out of the fucking blue.
That's
so
true.
Her destiny was never to be a journalist. I just changed it. For me, it was nothing. For her, it was everything.
I mean, I'm sure you didn't know that I was in finance.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me this ghost story or paranormal thing that you've been through, right?
Right.
One?
Yeah. So I told you earlier about like how my ex, I had like sleep paralysis. I didn't know how common it was for
like
Hispanic cultures to do voodoo. What do you call it?
Santeria or brujeria.
There you go.
It depends what belief.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had slept over at her house, and then I woke up in the morning and I had sleep paralysis because I just could not move. But I saw this like thing, this like dark gas in the corner, and I was like, what the fuck? But I couldn't move, so like the only thing I could do is go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep, and then like whenever she came home from work, I told her about it, and I was like, I remember like sun was shining, I couldn't move, like this black orb gas thing in the corner was just like there, you know? And she was like telling me how she had a like video recording of like she had a motion sensor camera in her room because her sister would like steal her clothes, so she's trying to catch her sister stealing her shit. And it caught an orb just kind of floating around, and it shoots to a corner, and the camera moves. So it's like it detected motion.
Yeah.
And so that was my first like ever paranormal experience. I went through a twin flame experience actually. And you know, afterwards, I guess like after you separate from your twin flame, a lot of things will not conjure, but like happen. Like you go through another spiritual journey in a sense, right? And that during that time, I was like heavily, I don't know, like I was trying to sever that tie, but you can't sever a twin flame connection.
Like ever?
Apparently not. I mean, I don't really feel her as much, but maybe I just have more in control. Before I could feel like her emotions and stuff like that. And I also, and you know how you said that like you have like gifts where you can kind of see things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually come from a line of psychics as well. I fortunately don't see things because I think that would fucking freak me out. But I'm very intuitive and very sensitive. Like gut feelings are like a huge thing for me, right? So during that time with my twin flame like separation or whatever like that, I could not sleep. I would wake up at like 3 in the
like
morning.
all the time
4 in the morning, and that's like what witch's hour, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I had like insomnia one night, and I was just like fucking laying there, and I was just like, I cannot fucking sleep. And I just feel this like, you know, like when someone like pushes their hand down on the pillow,
on like the bed or
on the bed or something.
Yeah, the pressure.
I feel the pressure next to my head, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then I just feel this static, like touching me,
like grainy.
It's like grainy static.
Okay,
but
like electricity. Kinda?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't see anything. And then like prior to that, like my dog kept waking up and would like bark in the corner.
Okay.
Or like stare in the corner or something like that, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on, right? So, you know, so when this. I don't know. It started caressing me. Like it was like caressing my face. It was just really weird. Like I didn't feel scared.
It's like a succubus or something.
No, I didn't feel scared. Like it didn't feel icky.
Could it be like a relative, like an ancestor, maybe?
I'm not sure. So it kissed me.
On your cheek?
On my face, on my lip.
Like you felt it?
Yeah, I felt the static on my lips, and I was just like, what is going on?
You had your own ghost moment?
Yeah. So like, but it felt very like endearing and like filled with love. It didn't feel scary.
That sounds like an ancestor.
I didn't feel scared. Yeah. So I asked like my spiritual friend who has like the gift of seeing and like hearing, right? So I asked her, I was like, so like when ghosts touch you, like how does it feel? She goes, it feels icky, it feels cold. And I was like, I didn't feel that. I felt static, but it felt warm. And I don't know what my gut was telling me, but it was kind of telling me like it was a higher being, but like my twin flame's higher being.
Like she came to visit you or something?
Yeah, not so much her, but her higher being came to visit me because we were in separation.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and that was kind of what my gut was telling me.
Have you ever seen a UFO or anything?
No. Dude, I'd be fucking terrified.
Dude, I think we saw a UFO in our backyard.
Are you serious?
Yes. And
Here?
It was very recent. Yeah, it was during a tornado. It was in our backyard.
Like you saw the actual alien?
No.
Oh.
The UFO.
Oh.
And when I say UFO, I'm using the term as like it was something flying and unidentifiable.
Okay.
But I didn't know it at the time. So we were in the backyard. The sirens were going off for a tornado. We let Manny out. And we're in the backyard. I'm doing a time lapse of the sky because of the clouds were coming in. And at that point, Adam and I both look up and there's this like, it's crazy. It was like this circle, this sphere, like a metallic black sphere. And it was just like zooming through the clouds. It's coming in with the storm and just this black metallic sphere. And it's just moving through the sky. And it was so sharp. Like it was like somebody, like if you edited the video and you brought up the sharpness, like so clearly visible from the sky, like not pixelated or blurry. And I wasn't even wearing my fucking glasses and the shit was sharp. And him and I are just like, what is that? And it's just zooming through the sky, like super fucking fast with the storm. And then it just went in through the clouds and it was gone. And I'm like, okay, but it was like a perfect metallic blackish looking sphere.
I laugh because like aliens are probably like, oh, we're driving past this because this is the ghetto.
Yeah, ghetto, right? So then we didn't think anything of it. And then we were watching Slapped Ham and there was a video of somebody that submitted that. And it was literally the same shit that we saw in the sky.
Crazy.
It was a video of the same black sphere going through the sky. And then I saw some like Navy released footage of like UFOs and stuff. And some of them were like spherical too that they were talking about.
The CIA already confirmed that there's aliens in
for sure.
Yeah.
There's gotta be.
And
like, we can't be the only thing here. You know, the server talk, like I'm sure there's servers where other beings are being hosted. And
like if you want to go down like conspiracy theories, like lizard people.
The reptilians?
Yes.
Do you think they're in government?
Yes.
Do you think they're shapeshifters?
Yes.
Okay, so do you really, so you think like when they show those videos of like their eyes doing the little lizard thing?
I believe there's like fucking Bigfoot. There was a video that I saw on TikTok where this guy, he posted a video where he saw like a giant on like a mountaintop and he's like, there's a fucking giant, and after that like he disappeared.
I think I've seen similar videos of soldiers in Afghanistan that saw some like giants in caves and they were talking about like these giants were like cannibals and were like attacking soldiers and stuff. Definitely seen some weird shit. I really think that was a UFO. I think as a kid I've seen like the saucer shapes in the sky and just different things. I've definitely seen some shit that like left me wondering.
No, that shit was scared the fuck out of me. Like I've seen some like documentaries and that shit always creeps me out.
I would actually like to see an alien.
Like I saw this one show where he was like in Brazil or something like that. And he like woke up in the middle of the night going to get a glass of water and his balcony was open. And he said he walked by and there was a gray just like staring at him. And
why didn't that happen to me?
What the fuck? That would scare the fuck out of me.
I know too, but I would be like, dude, please, I have so many questions. But it's, don't leave.
But it was funny because like it's like it got scared of him too. So it was like, oh fuck, like he caught me, you know?
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get shot.
Yeah, he's like fuck this. Out. So he like jumped over the balcony. He was like deuce, you know?
Dude, see, I'm jealous now because I'm the kind of freak that if I saw a gray in my living room, I'd be like, oh my god, hold on, don't leave. I will bring you some tea. I just want to ask you like 5 questions.
Have you heard of that one ranch where that guy was like claiming that there's like shitload of
Skinwalker Ranch?
Is that what it is? Where he's like, there's so many grays and I've killed like hundreds of them.
I want to see one. I need to see a skin of that thing.
Yeah, but like he said he would like kill him with like a samurai sword or some shit.
And then they're just gone? Does he not keep the bodies or something?
Like he said that like as soon as he cuts them, like they just disintegrate or something like that.
How convenient.
Right?
I need to see this. Okay, so I want to know, like, what do you have going on from here? You know, what are some future projects, something that got you like really excited for the future? Is there like any shows or anything that you're excited about coming up? Anything that the youth may want to come and enjoy. Because I'm too fucking old. Dude.
So I have a residency in Frisco. It's called the Parlor, Bottle and the Blonde. That's more on a Wednesday, but it's more of like, you might like it. It's like a 90s vibe.
Oh, hell yeah.
80s and 90s
shit.
vibe. And then they have like half off on wine. And that's like 7 to 11.
I don't drink, but I would still.
Yeah, for the vibe.
It sounds fun. Like, I don't have to drink to dance. I fucking dance.
Like, honestly, like last week when I was playing like all the oldies, like R&B music.
Yes.
Like Jodeci, Keith Sweat. Yeah, Keith Sweat. Mace. Mariah Carey, old school Mariah Carey.
Tony Braxton. Andrea Howard.
SWV. Yeah, like it was like I was jamming, man.
Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah. So it was like that kind of vibe. And then so that's me on every Wednesday now. And then I also am DJing Common Table in McKinney on Saturdays. And that's more of like a early 2000 like hip hop vibe. They're trying to build that up. I won't be there this upcoming Saturday because I'm attending a wedding, but I think afterwards that So it's like a little bit more like low key gigs. I think the next big gig that I'm doing is in Carrollton. That's going to be more in November. As far as my like DJ gigs. I'm gonna try to be more proactive and consistent with like my content creation. I'm really trying to build up my like TikTok right now.
Yeah.
Because I see that they're paying their creators a lot of money. Like,
so if anyone wants to follow you, it's T-Rexx?
DJ.T-Rexx.
On all your socials?
On my TikTok is DJ T-Rexx, and then Instagram is DJ.T-Rexx. And then as far as like my entrepreneurship, I guess, I don't know, launching more private labels, just reselling shit. I'm kind of dabbling into like the caviar business.
Caviar.
Yeah,
random.
Yeah, super random. And then eventually, you know, I kind of want to get into like more real estate sector. Like, I don't know, I was looking at like laundromats.
Okay.
Yeah, laundromats, and then like
there's money there.
Right.
Yeah.
Laundromats, and then like the house that I have now, I want to rent that house out and get another house, and then kind of rinse and repeat.
Start like property investments and stuff.
Property investment.
That's the smart. I always hear the sharks talk about that.
So that's another thing I want to get into. And then just like little things like I have a friend that me and her, we're kind of wanting to start a clothing business. But the mission to that is like every sale that we do, we're gonna donate back into charity. That's
sick. Like different charities or just
just different charities. And then also like I kind of wanted to see what drop shipping was about. I kind of just things that
like passive income,
like that's
the goal.
Like you work smarter, not harder,
so smart.
Because like if I'm sick, I can't DJ, I don't get paid.
But you can be selling stuff.
But I can be selling
like
shit.
You do already on Amazon.
Right? Like I'll wake up and it's like it tells me, oh, like this person bought like 5 of your things.
That's sick. I might have to pick your brain sometime about that. Yeah. Okay. So do you have any advice for any young DJs that want to get into the music industry or just even start DJing? Because I know you went in it like you just threw yourself into it,
honestly nowadays it's just so different, right? And I think like also being like a content creator kind of helps that. You can be a shitty fucking DJ and you can still get gigs. It's just about branding yourself, right? And then first comes to first, like practice, know your music, know your shit, and then brand the fuck out of yourself. I've branded myself like 3 times already, honestly. So it's like,
so you can't be afraid of rebranding or okay.
Yeah. Like, like I said, as long as you remain authentic and you're true to yourself, like I think it opens up a door of different opportunities.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as far as for me on my podcast journey, I'm still a noob in the game. Do you have any advice for me?
I thought this was dope. Like, I could literally talk to you all night.
I know. It's the ADHD.
Yeah, because we literally was like going back and forth on like just random fucking shit,
Yeah.
But I like this feels really comfortable. I mean, this is a whole vibe. So yeah, I think you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I so appreciate that. Yeah. So you think I'm on the right path?
Yeah, I think I love that you're putting yourself out there. Like, because you had mentioned earlier, like your friend like would encourage you, like, you gotta speak your truth. You gotta put yourself out there, and that's how you're gonna become famous. And I feel like baby steps, right? Like,
hey, I got a face for radio, okay?
why
I'm
not?
working
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, and then you got a partner in crime that's helping you with the media.
He works for free too.
That's awesome.
I can't even pay him.
Bro, yeah. So it's like, I think it's awesome. I think if you're just consistent and just in general, like being consistent, being ahead of the trends, you know, can't. You gotta get on TikTok though.
I do. Everyone says that, and I will. Well, dude, I want to thank you so much for coming out to the pod. Like, I had a blast. I love that we got to talk about so many different things and like aliens and numerology and ghosts and all that good shit. And I wish you the best in your endeavors. I'll have to hit up one of your events.
Yeah.
I have to take my my Advil with me, but Advil and the Coke.
Advil and the Coke. All right, good stuff.
Heck yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks.